beautiful face. My beautiful face.
That's what I wait all week for.
I know it is. It's what everybody waits all week for, just to see me and my prettiness.
Mm-hmm.
And I think because Nick pulled his little... I think BCU was Monday. I'm pretty sure Vince left.
No, here he is right now.
No, Vince left. Big Bird left.
Hmm?
First and foremost, I guess, good day, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Beer Dweebs United. There's myself, there's Radar, there is Mr. Hoogly himself. What are we drinking? We'll start with Lee.
I am drinking from the Breton Brewing Company from here in Cape Breton, Nova Scotia, the Black Angus India Pale Ale.
Nice.
Oh, you're in Cape Breton? I thought you were in mainland Nova Scotia.
No, I am in Nova Scotia, but it's in the NSLC, so I can get it.
Ah.
What are you drinking there, Radar?
Side launch. Wheat. Again.
I think
good beer.
I think he just really, really likes Sybil and wants to give her as much money as he can.
Sybil.
Ooh. Who's Sybil?
The owner of Side Launch.
Oh, is she very, very hot?
Is she?
I'm going to be drinking Collective Arts Goza.
Notice how he changed the subject really quick.
You know, here's the greatest thing about running beer festivals, right? I will, and it's only because of the beer I'm drinking, because I just did get one of my emails that I get at least a couple times a year. Months after the festival, you'll get a message from somebody. Hey, when are we getting paid? And I'm sitting here going, yeah, everybody, including the breweries who got checks, were paid within the first week, and they were all paid out. I have your salesperson's signature that he picked up cash. You go deal with him.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not that they don't get the money. It's that nobody in a brewery, for some reason, knows how to keep a paper trail of anything. The money's brought in. This is from this, and then it just disappears.
That's the problem with a lot of these breweries popping up, though, where you've just got such a massive influx of new breweries opening up. Not everyone is necessarily the best businessman, and they don't got their shit together, and they don't have it organized. So you're going to run into problems like this, like just all the time. And then there's also the thing where, and it's kind of insulting, and actually it pisses me off when I see these breweries do it to you, where they don't treat your festival seriously until maybe like at the very last minute, when like, hey, can we get a table on your fucking festival? It's like, where the fuck were you half a year ago? So I mean, it's fucking clown shoes all the way around. These fucking people, they need to get their shit together. It's not good PR. It's not good business. It's not good business relationships with people in the community. You're trying to do something positive. You're trying to help out the local beer scene. You're trying to give some money to a really great charity and stuff like that. That should be something that everyone should be on board with. But these people still dick around and take their fucking time getting to you. And, you know, if they're not going to take you seriously, that's their problem. It shouldn't be your problem. And basically, fuck them.
Oh, I just lowered the bandwidth. I was getting a little bit of feedback. But yeah, right. Well, the reason I brought that up was it wasn't a new brewery that did it. It's usually breweries that have been around for a while. This one was the brewery that I'm drinking from right now. But
well, I mean, even well-established breweries that even you've maybe had a good relationship with in the past, if they're going to start doing that shit, then it's like, well, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to cut the cord. I can't be. I mean, we're doing this festival. It's a serious fucking festival. I'm serious about it. I'm you know, covering all my bases. I got all my paperwork down. I mean, I'm not fucking kidding around. I'm not some fucking jackass fucking around doing some bullshit festival. You got a serious festival going on. I mean, you know, it's casual and fun and all that stuff, but the nitty-gritty of it is you're still taking it totally seriously because you know you have to get it to be successful. And if these people aren't on fucking board, then sayonara, motherfuckers. I'll move on to the multitude of other breweries that would love to jump in and actually take it serious and do the right thing. So,
Oh, we got the hate starting with Lee already.
It's not
So
even
let's
hate. It's fucking common sense.
let's get him really going. This is
This
this
is
is this
no.
is the
This
beer
is
release. You ready
this
for
is
this, Lee?
you.
You ready, Lee?
Okay, throw it at me.
Stanley Park and Lululemon have released their Courageous Blonde Ale.
Lululemon. That's the clothing,
Yeah, that's the clothing line.
the yoga clothing or whatever.
Yep.
They're courageous blonde and okay. So what's the PR bullshit behind this? Because so far you've just told me it's a boring blonde ale.
Okay, well, Stanley Park Brewing, which is now owned by Molson Coors, I do believe owns them now, or was it Labatt that bought them? But anyway, and yoga and athletic apparel chain Lululemon have announced the release of their third annual collaborative beer because they do it every year. The Courageous Blonde is a 4.8% ABV lemon hopped ale, described as an unfiltered, full-bodied Kolsch-style blonde ale with an undeniably fresh taste and aroma. Courageous Blonde will be available at the Seawees Sunset Festival following the Seawees Lululemon Half Marathon in Vancouver on August 13th.
The what? The seaweeds? What?
Yeah,
What
the
fuck is that?
Seawees.
What the fuck is that bullshit?
Seawees.
I think that makes me more angry hearing the name of that festival than the fucking beer. What? Who are the marketing people behind this bullshit? Why is Lululemon this sort of yoga influenced fucking clothing apparel company? Why are they not doing something like a green tea or a chai beer or something along those lines? Why are they doing just some boring goddamn fucking blonde ale? You know why? Because they don't know shit about beer and they don't even know what their customer base would probably really be interested in. You try to sell like using natural Japanese green tea in all of our beers. You know how many fucking yoga freaks would eat that shit right up? They would jump on that shit. But this blonde ale, what the fuck is that bullshit? That's
Yeah.
fucking crap, man. That's fucking.
But it's lemon hopped. It's lemon hopped.
It's lemon hopped. What do they mean by lemon hopped? Does it have Sriracha Ace in it or something? Or
Maybe it's the Lululemon brand hops.
oh, fuck off. Lululemon. Yeah, fuck you. That's stupid. That's so dumb. That's so dumb. I mean, I'm a better marketing fucking genius than anyone apparently at Lululemon because I'd be going for green tea, spiced chai. I'd be going for all that fucking bullshit, yoga, health nut, goddamn garbage. I'd even be looking into like gluten-free stuff. I'd be looking into like making a quality gluten-free beer. That would be a really great pairing, I think, with that sort of culture. So yeah, good luck with your fucking blonde ale. Maybe if you can market it as like a some sort of woman's power fitness kind of thing. Yeah, courageous blonde. Maybe if that's what they're going for, then maybe it might work. Maybe, but yeah, fuck it. It's bullshit.
Yeah, bullshit. No one likes women.
Fuck you, Greg. No one likes women.
Hey, Greg.
Sup?
Cal next ale project is supposed to be opening later this year.
You're cutting out quite a bit there.
Tell your daughter to get off her iPad.
What?
Yeah, you might want to check and see if the internet cafe is going on.
Okay, Lee.
And while
He's in
you're
charge
at
for a minute.
it, do something misogynistic to your wife.
Yeah. And while you're doing that, I'll ask Gregory what he's doing. What are you drinking, sir?
I am having a refined fool. My cousin knows the drummer. Half-Blood.
I like that name.
It's interesting. Unfortunately, the beer is sweating like hell, so I'm doing some Weiss rolling and hoping it doesn't blow up on me.
I suppose you guys have the sort of... Actually, you guys usually get even worse temperatures than we do. You're probably what?
So,
High 30s?
Yeah, I think we're somewhere in the mid-30s, but it's a very, very high humidity today.
Yeah. We're starting to cool down a little bit. We're getting like high 20s, and of course every once in a while you get the humid day, and they'll just it'll feel like fucking mid 30s. But it's better than last week where everything was feeling like fucking 40.
Yeah, that's kind of us where, we had the 40 weather too, and it's better this week, but it's not. I mean, I don't really complain because you know what? In 6 months, I'm going to be shoveling snow. And
All you do is complain.
Yeah. You
That's
sound a
not
lot
true.
better.
I do not.
You sound a lot better, by the way, there, Chad.
So what I was talking about was Calgary's getting a new brewery, the Annex Ale Project. The Annex Ale Project is being founded by Andrew Bullied. Andrew Bullied was the head brewer at Village Brewery. They will be starting off with 2 year-round beers, an extra pale ale, and a North American bitter, which is all the nuttiness and caramel you'd expect from an English bitter, with a big North American hop nose.
I'd be into that.
That could be interesting.
Yeah.
For you, next is Strathcona Beer Company, just opened in Vancouver.
Yeah.
They opened up with a Pilsner, a Belgian Golden Ale, a British IPA, and a Radler.
Ooh.
Wow, fucking milk with toast right across the fucking board, man. Jesus.
And they'll have a smoked porter in the fall.
Well, smoked porter is... Wow, when smoked porter is your most interesting beer in your lineup? Okay.
Especially in Vancouver, of all places.
Yeah, I mean, good luck to them. Hopefully their beers are really good, but I mean, just from initial thoughts, the lineup screams, I don't want to go there. And I'm not even a guy who's excited to buy like super amazing big beers. Like, that's not necessarily attraction, but that just sounds kind of weak sauce even for me.
So you have a brand new brewery in Dartmouth. You have Brightwood Brewery. They just opened on the 22nd. They are brewing on a one-barrel system, so much like Brimstone was originally. And they debuted their first brew, which is the Big Lift American IPA, at 70 IBU and 6% alcohol.
So, like everyone else's beer.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you have a one-barrel system, that's when you open up with like 5 or 6 beers.
Yeah. It depends on I guess it depends on what they're going for. I mean, there's definitely a lot of really small breweries that have opened up in Dartmouth, Halifax area that only cater to like the couple blocks around them. So if they have a really fucking killer IPA, I could see them doing really well with just that and then expanding upon that. So, who knows? It might work. I mean, they've got enough of the population there where they can grow and gain a customer base and make money and expand. So, I mean, that's the place to do it, Dartmouth, Halifax. If you got the money to start up and then you start brewing beer.
Yeah.
I have no opinion of Dartmouth, Halifax, because I don't even know where it is.
I don't have any opinion on Dartmouth either.
It is essentially right next to Halifax, and it's pretty much the same thing. And there's a lot of breweries have sort of popped up there.
Oh, aren't they like basically just across a bridge?
Yeah, they're just across the bridge, and so there's all these little neighborhoods and stuff, and both sides of it is basically one big fucking city, really. And
that's where Rod first started when he first moved back. He started at the Downeaster, which is in Dartmouth.
Yeah, I mean, look at a brewery like North Brewing, which was Bridge Brewery to start with. They're doing really well now. They started out on maybe single barrel system or something like that, just doing strictly Belgian style beers, and they're doing really well for themselves. They just catered to the neighborhood, the local neighborhood, and they were constantly out of beer. They had lineups. They could only open a couple days a week just because the demand was so high. So, I mean, if this brewery can sort of garner that kind of attention with their first beer and then they expand, hey, they could do pretty well for themselves. So.
Okay, now I did post a thing on Facebook where I had said if you have any questions, feel free to post them here and we will get to them. We only had one person that had posted something to us, and it was Michael McManus. He said, right now the new trend in beers is hard root beers. Does anyone know of any craft breweries that are making a very unique brew that may catch the attention of the macro breweries and suddenly become a trend?
First off, I wouldn't say those hard root beers are really beers. Let's just put that away right quick, because those are more just sort of like malt beverage cooler things of alcohol more than anything else. They're not like real root beers. None that I've seen so far. Like, someone could correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't recall any of them looking to be like honest to God fucking root beer, like with alcohol in it. What was the second part of his question?
Is there any craft breweries that are currently making a unique brew that might catch the attention of the big guys? And right there, I would say there is one thing that's going around Ontario, at least right now, and there's 5 different breweries that are making it, and I'd love to get my hands on some of it, but I can't. It's all brewery only, but it's creamsicle beers. So there's what is it? Railway City has the Dreamsicle Kale. Another brewery in Ontario has the Creamsicle. Then there's the Orange Vanilla Ale, which is the exact same thing from Nickelbrook.
That's a better name, honestly. That's a better name. Those first two names, they suck ass. They really do.
But yeah, there is a lot of breweries right now doing creamsicle beers.
Hey, I can probably stop in Nickelbrook on my way up to Niagara next week.
You just want to get some creamsicle beer now too, don't you?
No, I just want to get it for you so you can suck my dick for it.
You should get yourself a cucumber lime goza then, so you taste better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be sweet.
Yeah, but that's a big one going on right now, is the orange creamsicle beers. Anything else that's really unique that might catch the big guys' eyes? At some point, they might try a Berliner Weiss or a Goza, because those are everywhere this summer.
That seems like the next kind of frontier. I mean, they've been doing sours forever now and saisons and shit, but there's only a couple people who've been really sort of doing Berliner Weisses. That would be something. That'd be interesting to see. Rickard's Berliner Weiss. That'd be something.
I just bought a Sawdust City Berliner Weiss today.
Oh, so did I. The Coriolis effect?
Yeah, I saw it. I was like, I've never had this before. I generally like their products, so I'll try it.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad.
We do have one comment, by the way, on the YouTube page.
Alrighty.
Luis Chavez says, "You still casting on Vaughn, Chad?"
I never did cast on Vaughn, to be honest. I casted on JTV.
Yeah, I think he's like mistaking JTV for Vaughn. I think that's where most of the JTV people moved to.
Yeah,
after
they went all over to Vaughn, and Vaughn had less rules for them too. So it was a good place for a lot of them to go. But yeah, at the same time that JTV closed down, Google basically started up the Google Hangouts, and I've just been doing them straight to YouTube.
Yep.
What was the one where they had to ban any sort of toplessness, male or female? Because I think one guy was, I think it was Twitch, because I think one guy was playing PlayStation with his girlfriend on the couch and fell asleep, so he started to undress her for everyone to see without her explicit consent.
Yeah, Twitch. Well, JTV turned into Twitch, and Twitch is where that shit went down. Yeah. They also basically just cracked down on like a lot of the female gamers and stuff in Twitch who are basically pushing their bosoms up into the camera to get money.
They shut down a lot of channels.
Yeah.
For that sort of stuff.
I'm a female gamer. Look, I have tits.
Yeah.
But back to beer. Here's something that was a great olive branch for the Ontario consumer, as well as being a good step in the right direction. The LCBO this week launched the LCBO.com, which is their online sales outlet. So you can go on there. You can order beers you can't get at your LCBOs and all that. If you deliver it to the store, it can take anywhere from 1 to 6 weeks, but it's free. If you deliver it to your house, it's 1 to 4 days, but it costs you $12. So the $12 is the better way to go. I mean, I've sent beer mails. $12 is a great price.
That is.
On a minimum order of $50.
On a minimum order of $50. Only drawback is they only accept real credit cards. So if you're somebody that doesn't have a credit card, you only have a Visa debit, you can't use them.
Well, that's stupid. That sucks. That's bullshit. Hopefully they change that eventually, but I mean,
they never will. They say it's for security reasons, which isn't true because a credit card and a Visa debit have the exact same security features.
Yeah.
But what it comes down to is a lot of Ontario social services are paid for via prepaid Visa debits, so they don't want them to be ordering booze with
I see.
their government checks.
But that's still pretty good. I mean, if you have a credit card, that's a good deal. And let's face it, if you're like a craft beer enthusiast, you're probably spending way more than $50 anyway every time you step into an LCBO.
There is 852 beers on the LCBO website. 400 and something, 470 I believe it was available online. I went through them all and clicked on every single beer I have not had just to see what my total would have been, and it was $155.
Yeah, there you go.
So, and I actually had $155, and I was going to buy it, and then I found out that my card didn't work, and I'm like, I'm not going to charge credit card because I'm trying to pay those off and cancel them so that I don't continue doing the things I used to do.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did you get these prepaid cards through some sort of social service, Chad?
Yes. No, it's my normal fucking card.
Oh, okay. Just want to make sure you're not spending your food money on booze.
Well, booze is liquid bread, so.
Yeah. I mean, and what could be more holy than a person using their welfare stamps for liquid bread? And that's the way the monks did it.
I mean, this is great for the consumer. They do have a limited amount of each type of beer online. I mean, there are some stores that have, say the fucking oak aged cream ale from Muskoka that I've been trying to find everywhere. There are some stores that have 75 bottles of that. Online, there's only 10 bottles left. Now, to me, once you buy those 10 bottles, if a store still has 70-something, you should ship some of them back to the warehouse.
Yeah. You see, this is a good thing, especially one of the problems that liquor stores have across the country is you have too much overstock sitting in different places, and you sort of see that kind of they try to remedy that here, at least in Nova Scotia, where every once in a while you'll see like a special beer that otherwise wouldn't appear in my local, other than the fact that we had too much in Halifax and we're trying to send it out to the other stores and see if it'll sell. Here you got a better chance of selling that extra stuff so it doesn't sit on clearance shelves. Because it becomes more accessible to people who are not willing to drive to like a city LCBO
or
to go
not
and get
able
it.
to go to the LCBO in the city.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the good thing for me, like I said, is there are a lot of beers that you can only find in the Toronto area and all that I could get my hands on.
Yeah. So yeah, that's you got a credit card. That's a win-win system right there. I like that.
Again, for anyone that thinks that $12 shipping and booze is expensive, I ship booze across the country.
Yeah.
It's not. It's cheap as fuck.
Hey, Pally, try some beer mails.
The other thing I would like to see is, and this is just, the whole Amazon.com thing conditioning me, is like, why didn't they be like $12 for a $50 order, but you order $100, it's free? Like, it would be nice if there's a threshold you could get.
Especially because it's a crown corporation selling to a crown corporation, so they're not actually paying them to move it.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be deals in the future. I mean, it just makes sense for them to do that.
Yeah, this is them starting off. We'll see how it goes down. I mean, it is just an olive branch to make people happy and to shut them up about everything. But you know what? I'm okay with this olive branch as long as we keep getting olive branches every so often.
Yeah, I'm actually quite happy for it. I don't know how often I'd use it. I think I'd actually use the store thing more because obviously I live in Toronto, which, as you know, does have some beer selection. But sometimes, but the thing is with stuff like if I want a whiskey or something, right? I may have to go to an LCBO that's like 20 minutes away from my house. I'm lazy as fuck. I would rather just.
But remember, if you order it through them, it's going to take a couple weeks up to get it.
Yeah, but I've never been to the point where I have to drink a whiskey.
It is
within a
true.
week. I'm just like,
actually, you know what? That's the one complaint I've seen people giving is, oh, I'm glad I can order it and have my booze in 5 days. Good thing I didn't want to drink today. If you want to fucking drink it today, go buy your fucking Coors Light at the fucking store.
Yeah. Plan ahead, and with stuff like spirits and whiskeys and stuff like that, it doesn't matter how fucking long it takes.
No,
it's still going to be perfectly great.
I really think the mail to your house option is going to mostly be, at least for me, for beers. Spirits, I'll ship them to the fucking store and let them sit for weeks.
Yeah. Oh, yes, and I mean, you can plan it out. You know, I want a vacation 2 months from now. That's going to be my fucking massive Scotch vacation where I ordered all these bottles of rare Scotch I couldn't get otherwise.
Yeah. And typically most whiskey I buy will stay sealed for usually at least 6 months because guess what? I've got other stuff that I'm finishing off usually before I want to open a new bottle.
And guess what? Even when you open a fucking bottle of whiskey, it doesn't really go that bad for quite a long fucking time.
I still have some bottles of whiskey that are like 6 years old that taste fine.
Exactly. As long as you don't leave it fucking open overnight, you know, it's pretty goddamn good.
Yeah,
pretty good.
And well, some people would even argue that oxidized whiskey tastes better. I think to a degree that's true, but it's certainly possible to over-oxidize.
Yeah, there's definitely some interesting changes depending on the whiskey. Yes. So yeah, that's a great system.
Yeah, I'm really excited for it. If I could trust myself, I would do it. But like I said, I'm trying to pay them all off and cancel them, so I'm not doing it. I want to, but I'm not going to. I'm going to have control.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm not a credit card guy, so that would be an impossibility for me. So.
Well, the only option, Chad, you could do is you could literally be like, okay, I have $100 to order the LCBO. You put it on your credit card before you ever make that order. You put the $100 right on the credit card, and then you put in the order.
No, I know myself. If I break into that card, I'll spend it somewhere else too.
Okay, well, fair enough.
So I'm not using cards ever again. I'm getting rid of them. I'm getting out of the shit pits I've put myself in. I have money to waste on kids more than anything now.
And you're going to need it.
Yep, unfortunately. Hey, Goose Island recalled 2 more of their Bourbon County's lines. One was the original Bourbon County, and the other was the proprietor blend. So this was 3 recalls this year with the barley wine and these 2. I had personally thought that it must have came from the barrels, like the cellarman wasn't able to do his job properly and everything.
Yeah.
But it seems that it came down to cleanliness because they said that they traced the lacto and the other foreign bacteria to the transfer tank.
Okay.
So again, it's probably partially due to growing as quickly as they grew, at least growing the line as quickly as they grew it, and they just didn't sanitize as well as they should have.
Yeah.
And I mean that can happen to anybody. It's not ha 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 ha. Well, it kind of is ha 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 ha. That the one company that's been the best for fucking sanitization for 100 years fucked up, but it can happen to anybody.
Well, you're gonna get. I mean, this is just ammo for all those fucking petty little assholes who go, I'm never buying Goose Island again because they sold out at Anheuser-Busch. It's like, fuck you piece of shit. If they're still making quality beer, they fucked up once in a while. How many times did your favorite goddamn craft brewery fuck up a fucking batch of a certain beer? Like, get fucking real. Yeah, Dark Horse. Get fucking real, you fucking asshats. You should be fucking on your goddamn knees sucking their goddamn dicks for the amount of quality they actually do produce. And the fact that you can get it almost everywhere now.
Next, I'm going to drink the Papaya Saison.
Ooh,
papaya.
I am now on a 9 Locks Brewing Company's ESB.
Ooh, that sounds interesting.
Out of Dartmouth. You will find it interesting, sir. Once I finally do get those couple of beer mails that I do owe certain individuals out, most of the stuff's going to be canned, thankfully enough. So much new stuff. It's all pretty much in cans. So,
I'm loving canned beer mails right now. You can shove so much more into the
Oh, man.
boxes.
So good. I love shoving so much in.
I ended up getting a package from one person that only had like 8 beers in it, and that package I ended up sending to Dan from Booze Reviews, and it had like 16 cans in it, and I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah. This is so good.
Yeah, and then you get there to ship it, and they put it on the scale, and they're like, hey, and you're like, that's like $20 less than it usually is.
Remember when you're first doing like beer mails where like cans were like almost like an extra special kind of bonus you threw in with like a ton of bottles? Now it's the other way around. Now it's like a bottle is the one big space filler you throw in, and then the rest's all fucking cans.
As long as you can find it, yeah. Like I so much would rather just send cans. And the way that Canada Post is taking care of packages right now, sorry Canada Post, but the way you're taking care of packages right now, I'd rather send fucking cans.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you the one thing that pisses me off about cans, and I'm 100% on the can boat. But why the fuck have cans gone up in price so much? Like fucking lagers at the LCBO now cost like $3.15 for a can. It's like you're a fucking 4 or 5% lager. You shouldn't cost that much. You should be like $2.25.
Are you talking about, say, the Coriolis effect?
Well, that's more of a specialty beer. Like I'm talking that Ace Pilsner I bought you. That was $3.
Well, that's all. See, those things, the Ace Pilsner and the Lost Craft you bought me. I wanted to try them, 1, and 2, I want to see something about them because they are all about branding and selling in high-end restaurants. That's what they actually exist.
Oh, okay.
They're like, hey, I'm a Pilsner with great branding. I'm high-end. Pay more money for me.
So it's basically like the canned version of the exchange beer.
Yeah, yeah.
And I mean,
no, go ahead.
I was just going to say, breweries are catching on to the trend. People are moving to cans, so it's like, hey, people are buying more cans. We can start raising the prices a bit, and people are going to fucking accept it because they're willing to pay the money for it. I mean, that's what it
Well, and at the same time, cans are super cheap for the consumer normally and super cheap for the brewer, but they are getting more expensive because Crown Holdings is still on strike. There is still a shortage of some of them, like the Silver Bullets. There are some problems in canning with beer right now, so there are times where you're going to be paying a little bit more to get your cans. Yeah. So a little bit more in the price I can understand, but yeah, some of these prices jumped to like 50 cents.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I mean, the areas I'm in where I work is a fairly rich area. It's not, I mean, it is sort of hipsterish, but it's more of hipsterish for people that are like millionaires. And you know what's really popular with all the like little pubs and restaurants around is the Amsterdam 3-speed lager. That's like the trendy beer around everywhere.
So I'm curious what's going to go on with them and the 3-speed itself. Apparently, they did take a trademark out on it, so they could tell the 3-speed, 1, to change the name of their restaurant, and 2, to change the name of their beer that they've had for 10 years.
If they do that, they would be royal douchebags.
Yeah. I'm just curious to see if it does happen, though.
You know what, it's one thing, like, some of the shit they pull with the big guys is kind of douchey, too, but it's kind of funny, because, oh, haha, they're big guys, you know, who cares? If they're doing it to, like, a little family restaurant or something, fuck you.
Yeah. That's just being a fucking bully at that point. It's stupid.
Yeah, what are you, Wheels Brewery?
I'm still kind of curious, to be honest, though, if they did it on purpose or if they legitimately did not know that this restaurant brew pub existed in Toronto. Because there are so many of them in Toronto that they may have really just not known it was there.
Yeah, it's a possibility.
It's possible, but like I said, let's see if they don't start acting on it and start pushing their weight around, then okay, fine, maybe it was a legitimate mistake. But you know, if all of a sudden they turn around and try and get these guys, you know, shut down or whatever, then something tells me it was on purpose.
They might end up doing the latter just because all the consumers from that place have been harassing them for months now. The owner of the 3-speed actually went on a Twitter tirade about the whole thing and freaked out on the LCBO and everybody else. So in the end, something will happen. I just don't know what will happen or how long it'll take.
Hmm.
I think that it was a very slow news day in the UK because the Telegraph actually had this news article today. South Korean officials were banned from a Chinese beer festival over missile row.
Oh no.
So it's going on about how officials from a South Korean town were not allowed to go to this beer festival that's been going on for 26 years. It's a beer and chicken festival. And, they, the whole thing is about how they weren't allowed to go to the beer festival. Now, when not going to a beer festival is your punishment for aiming U.S. missiles towards China, that tells you how important beer is.
Wow, South Korea was aiming missiles towards China?
Well, U.S. missiles. It was like the way they deployed them. I don't think they were aiming them to fire them. It's just the way they were deployed.
There was just an escalation on the border, some sort. Okay.
And the punishment was you do not get to go to the beer festival.
No.
Well, I'd be like, fuck you.
That's like the adult equivalent of going to bed with no supper.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, they could aim them at North Korea, but North Korea can't fucking really throw their missiles back. The best they can do is dump missiles into the fucking ocean, so, you know.
If they take off at all.
Yeah, if they take off at all, so... Yeah, South Korea's got more problems anyway than fucking going to a beer festival. I mean, their culture has been so fucking isolated for so many years. I mean, it was only recently in the last few years that they've actually allowed Japanese culture to influence them again at any point. They were, like, incredibly racist towards the Japanese, who, to be fair, the Japanese have been incredibly racist to everybody in that region for almost their entire history.
After
but, you know,
raping village.
Yeah, well, yeah, the Japanese had sort of had this...
The Japanese put them on.
Yeah, the Japanese sort of had that unfortunate period in the 40s where they were not nice to all their neighbors. Yeah, and that was, you know...
Oh, not that. The wars in 1890 and 1895.
Oh, yeah, and even way before that. Even way before that, like in feudal Japan, where they were invading, like, mainland Korea and China all the time. Yeah. Those people hate each other so much.
Oh, yeah, the Chinese hate the Japanese. The Koreans hate the Japanese, and the Koreans hate the Chinese. It's like it's vice versa.
And you see it in the martial arts films.
So there was two big... I'm just going to take us out of this conversation.
Okay.
There was two big news articles just this week. Two of them, just days apart, about AB InBev and Sab Miller. So first came the fact that because of Brexit, the English pound's worth plummeted. So Sab Miller didn't want to actually go through with the merger, at least the London portion of them. Didn't want to go through with the merger because they weren't getting as much money. So AB InBev had raised their offer by £1.5 per share. So that was the original news article from Sunday, and then today, from Forbes magazine, Sab Miller is reportedly putting the brakes on the merger. They do not want to do it anymore because they are angry that they were only offered £1.5 more from a deal that was signed almost a year and a half ago.
Well, you know, good job, England.
Yeah, so Brexit has actually stopped. Technically, as of right now, it has stopped one of the biggest alcohol mergers. Well, the biggest alcohol merger that would ever happen. In the end, I'm sure they'll still go through with it because they'll want their money, especially.
Oh yeah, they'll find a way around it.
But if I was AB InBev, I wouldn't offer them anything else. You know, I was offering you $109 billion. You didn't like that.
Their offer isn't still in good faith. Like they couldn't foresee fucking Brexit and all that shit all of a sudden happening. I mean,
yeah, and they were even nice enough to say, okay, so we will give you £1.5 more per share to make up a little bit of the money you were going to lose.
Mm-hmm.
So that would bring it to like what the fucking almost $200 billion.
Yeah. Incredulous, just totally stupid. I mean, yeah.
Let's be honest. If we were offered $200 billion, it wouldn't be enough either.
If somebody offered me $200 billion for anything, I would be jumping on it.
Yeah, I'd probably not say no. You know, like
No, Lee would demand redheads and Chad would demand pigment.
with.
I don't want pigment. I'm okay being the way I am.
Oh, okay. Well, you demand less pigment then.
He'll have black hair and a spray-on tan.
I need enough black hair gel and enough spray tan to last me a decade, or this offer is over.
I would just have a harem of fucking redheaded supermodels. That's what it would amount to.
But you could buy your own harem with $200 billion.
That's what I'm saying. I would have that harem. I would build that harem.
No, but that comes out of your portion. You want them to pay for it. It's like Chad could probably use a few bodyguards to keep Joe away from his wife at Walmart.
Yeah, that's some issue. That is an ongoing issue right there.
I really am feeling that Joe doesn't like us anymore for some reason.
I'm getting really worried because I see him like seeing our chats on BDU, and every once in a while he might throw a thumb up there, but he's not joining in. He's not saying anything, and I'm starting to get a little worried that he doesn't like us.
That new job that changed his days off, but he could say, "Hey guys, I can't come anymore."
Yeah, just let us know what's going on, Joe. We miss you, dude.
And we love you. Well, a lot of people, I mean, granted, I don't know all the politics that go on in BDU, so maybe you guys know more than I do, but I mean, who hasn't? Matt hasn't shown up forever. Paul hasn't shown up forever, though I know why Paul's not showing up.
Yeah, Paul's.
Ethan hasn't shown up forever. I mean,
yeah, I think we might have alienated a few people, but the people we did alienate were all douches that Joe hated anyway. So it's like, well, what's going on?
Maybe in the process of the ethnic cleansing, we ethnic cleansed Joe.
Racism.
So I may actually have to open up the panel for new guests again.
Might have to, unless Joe wants to come back in here swinging.
But, I mean, in all honesty, the panel is basically open for everybody, and they get one or two tries if we want to bring them back past that. Anyway.
Trust me, it's not hard. They keep inviting me.
Yeah, look at you, looking at you, Stephen Orr, you douchebag, you fucked up.
What do we have here? The next news article is about the Smithsonian. The Smithsonian will pay someone $64,000 a year to drink and research beer. They are actually trying to, just like their food venture, have a beer historian to help create the history of craft beer in the U.S. So your pay would be $64,502 a year for 3 years, plus benefits, and you would have to travel around the country and drink beer.
Oh, that'd be terrible.
You would have to travel around the country. Oh,
God damn.
They are
awesome.
They are open to international applicants, but they do want you to have some history in history writing or research writing, as well as a degree in some literary art.
So when do you leave, Chad?
I don't leave.
It's sad that Michael Jackson died so young.
Both of them.
That sounds like the thing he would be doing, you know.
Yeah, you know, and then you think back on who could actually possibly fill that role. Like, who would be front runners? If you're looking at Canada, you're probably looking at Stephen Beaumont or Jordan St. John.
No.
He isn't as worldly versed as Stephen Beaumont, but he has written beer history books already. That's one thing he has over Stephen. I think Stephen has a better palate of the two of them.
Oh, throwing down.
I'm throwing down. Robin, don't tell him.
She probably doesn't watch anyway.
I know she does every once in a while.
Okay. Hi, Robin.
Don't actually go tell him. Tell him.
Yeah, actually do. Let's start some shit.
Is Robin the crazy one on that all-female chat, or the really crazy one?
Jeez.
Well,
I don't remember.
Why do we invite you back?
Oh man, well, that whole initiative just went out the fucking window. Way to go, Greg.
I think it's really cool that the Smithsonian is doing it. To be honest, it's a good pay rate, and you get benefits, and you're drinking beer and nothing else. And doing the paperwork of it. The history of the beer, the history of the style, the history of the brewery, doing interviews with the brewers and all that.
Think about it. You could totally bullshit this. Who the fuck is fact checking you? You could go to like England and drink just like standard British bitters for like 10 years in a row, and then come back and write your fucking paper to the Smithsonian. Yeah, the ancient Romans made beer here, and they did this, and they fucked a lot of Celtic people, and that's how you got the British bitter. And then the porter was derived from the fact that the Spaniards came in and they were darker, and they didn't like that, so they had to throw some darker beers their way. You just make up all kinds of bullshit. No one will fact check you.
I'm gonna be doing another Goza from Collective Arts.
I'm still working on my cousin.
Negro Modelo. Well, not
Nice.
Negro Modelo, just Modelo. Yeah.
Oh, the
Negro
Modelo
Modelo.
Special.
Yeah, I like this beer.
I
man.
actually like that one. I don't like the Negro Modelo.
This is my go-to slumming beer now.
I think I'm
I
going to throw a
actually had-
curveball and have a cigar with some scotch.
I had the Coriolis effect last night, which was basically what I would expect a macro version of a Berliner Weiss to taste like. It was very bready and weedy, and then tiny touch of sour, but it was very drinkable. And then I did some lagers last night too, and I drank the lagers, and I'm like, yeah, you guys did it properly. It's just, would I ever pay $3 a can for this when I could buy, a macro for $1.85?
Yeah, I mean that's the wall you run into with craft breweries doing lagers. I mean, unless you do something like really exceptional and different with them, it's like, oh, you've just made the best possible lager, like something that's like akin to like the really great European ones. But at the end of the day, it's like, that's really the style, but I don't want to pay $3 for a fucking bottle of it.
Yeah, one of the ones I did was the Salute 1179 from Big Rig, which is the beer they made when their owner, Chris Big Rig Phillips, retired from hockey to salute how many games he spent in the NHL. And it's a 4% alcohol beer, and I drank it, and I'm like, yeah, see, if you were in beer league hockey, this is exactly what you'd be drinking after the game. So you did 100% exactly what you should do, but I'm not gonna want to pay $2.95 for it. Now, if I'm at a bar, if I'm at Big Rig, I could actually see myself with all my buddies that don't drink craft beer do the keg table, where they hook a keg up to your table and you pour for yourself, and it charges you by the glasses you poured. I could see keg tabling that beer with all my buddies.
That would be fun.
Actually, next time I go to Ottawa, I want to keg table and see if we can empty a keg.
Oh, kegs are no. They're no issue.
That's my big problem. I know I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Session beers, session IPAs, all that stuff, they're great. They should come at session prices. Most of the time, session beers, I'll see it, let's say an Amsterdam Cruiser and an Amsterdam Bone Shaker.
Cruiser's terrible.
You know what? If you get it fresh, I actually think it's not bad. But regardless how you feel, though, whatever, that's fine. Let's say you enjoy them both.
No, I don't.
One of them is 4.5%. One of them 7. No, sorry, a Bone Shaker I think is 7.5, something in that range.
7. What is it? 7.2 or something, isn't it?
Yeah, and
Yeah,
they're
it's
both,
somewhere between 7 and 7.5.
and they're both within, like, a can of it is both within about, if they're not the same price, they're within 20 cents of each other. Like, my whole thing is, a Bone Shaker should cost what a Tall Boy costs, $2.75, whatever it costs. That Cruiser should cost $1.50 for the same size.
Totally agree. I had Cruiser recently, and it's like I paid the same amount for a 6-pack that I'd pay for Bone Shaker, and that's fucking bullshit.
Yeah,
Total fucking
exactly.
bullshit.
Well, it's things like you guys know that I love Stiegl Radler. Stiegl Radler is 2.4% alcohol, and you're paying almost $3 a can for it.
And I got a problem with that because the whole point of a session beer, you're supposed to drink a whole bunch of them. Whereas a big IPA, maybe you drink 1 or 2, or if you're an alcoholic like me, you drink 4. But normal people only drink 1 or 2 of them, so the price should be higher to reflect that. You know, it's like.
Well, I
it's
mean,
like,
that's how prices were in say England and all that. The lower the ABV, the cheaper the beer.
and it totally should be.
So let's look at this. Ideally, you should be able to buy Stiegl Radler in an 8-pack. That should be like the ideal format to buy it in. What price do you think that should sit? Like, I think an 8-pack of Stiegl Radler should be.
I'd say like $10, maybe. $12
Yeah, like
at the most.
10 to 12. It should be sitting at like sort of the standard price for a 6-pack of regular sort of borderline craft beer that you can get everywhere in Canada. That's where I think it should sit.
Yeah.
But if you had a 6-pack or 8-pack of Stiegl Radler, you'd be saying like $14 or more. You'd be somewhere up there, and that's just.
It's like, why not just buy the higher alcohol? Maybe just drink less of them. Assuming you contain some self-control.
Yeah.
Have less of them, and you're getting more. Your dollar is being stretched further.
They're just taking advantage of the fucking session IPA beer kind of thing that's going on. It's like, oh, everyone's into session IPAs. We can make our own and sell it at the same price we sell all of our other shit, like, or even maybe a little bit higher. Oh, fuck you.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's why I mean, I'll buy them occasionally to try, but that's why if I'm buying something to drink that I've already tried, I will never, ever, ever buy a session IPA because it's just not.
Well, I have a question for you. Did you buy one of those $4 Pilsners?
More.
The Ace Hill.
No, it was. I only bought one for you. I didn't buy one for
Okay, you
myself.
didn't buy one for yourself.
No, honestly, I looked at it and I'm like, I'm not interested in trying this thing. I just bought it for you because, you know what, it was convenient because right where I get on the bus, there's a beer store there and they had it, so I just ran over and picked it up for you. But yeah,
I saw some of Toronto's finest while you were there.
Oh my God, the beer stores are just like the epitome of
this is
humanity.
Between Greg and you, it's strictly like an omen relationship. It's like, I did it for you, Chad. I did it all for you.
It's true.
And you're gonna make Greg jump out of a fucking building at some point and commit suicide.
Do you have any questions or comments or concerns there, Lee?
No, we don't. I don't think we have too many people watching tonight. Well, actually, it says we have 7 people watching, so people should be really throwing the comments because we're an interactive show, ladies and gentlemen, and we field questions and comments of any sort. We do have 4 down votes and 3 up votes. 4 people are pieces of shit cowards who cannot comment and say that I downvoted because they're anonymous pieces of shit who are...
Downvotes, so we got Nick, we got Guy, probably Ewart, and then Joe. There we go.
No, I think we have a couple fucking pussies and cowards who don't want to name names, my friend, and say that they downvoted this, but... you know, that's fine. You don't want to man up and actually put in comments that, yes, I downvote your video every week because I'm a piece of shit. By the way, it doesn't matter that you downvoted this because we get maybe a total of a couple hundred viewers overall after this is all said and done. And unless you're a really big channel and you have thousands of downvotes, it doesn't matter in the fucking slightest what the upvotes or downvotes are. So... we kind of win and you kind of lose, so fuck you.
They just want to hurt your feelings, Lee, and they want to make you sad. They want to see you
But they're
cry
not
on
hurting my
camera.
feelings because I think it's really amusing that some person took their time to downvote on this video and they think they're making some sort of difference when really you're not. You're just a useless piece of shit like you always were, and whatever we did to hurt your little crybaby fucking feelings and make you feel like the little bitch that you are, you're still that little bitch. At the end of the day, you're still that little bitch.
Also, how can you downvote us when this thing hasn't finished yet? Even if you're not happy with what's happened so far, there may be some. The last hour might be like super exciting. Like,
yes.
It's like Batman versus Superman. You got 2 hours of nothing happening. Then you have half hour. Hey, this is really cool. Then you got another half hour.
Oh yeah, indeed. Strap in, big man. Strap in. Fair play. We're gonna really wrap it up here really soon.
Here's a good one for you guys. A genius Belgian has started to turn urine into beer using a solar
Yeah.
machine.
Oh, Vince.
So we actually read about that Norwegian beer festival that took a bunch of urine and made a urine beer. But these guys aren't boiling out urine and then just using it. What it is a solar powered. Well, it is a boiler, but it's a solar powered boiler with a membrane that separates the water from everything else. Everything else becomes fertilizer, and the water's recycled water. And then they can use said fertilizer to fertilize whatever the fuck they want, but they're making beer out of the water. Because it is solar powered, it uses no electricity at all, so this stuff can be rolled out globally. And they're talking about third world countries and less developed poor nations being the ones that can benefit the most. But right now it's just being used for beer in Belgium. And would you take a swig of a recycled urine water beer?
Well, if it's recycled, well, that's a bit of a misnomer. It's not really urine water. It's just water. I mean, if it's totally recycled and filtered and stuff, then urine has nothing to do with it. It's just water. Because, newsflash, the water you drink right now, it's probably been someone's piss at some point. I mean, that's just the cycle of the fucking world. That's how it is. So it's just a gimmick.
I don't think many people think about the fact that most cities have sewage plants that treat the water and then recycle it into the system.
It's just a gimmick. It's stupid bullshit. It doesn't matter. It's not even really an issue. I mean, they're just trying to like market themselves. Oh, here's our urine water beer, but really it's not. It's like, oh, here's our beer that uses water that everyone else uses. Hey, great. Awesome. Is your beer any good? Probably not. Fuck you.
Well, it was much like when the yeast beer came out, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, I'm never going to drink that. It's yeast beer." There are things that I don't really want to drink. The corn beer that Dogfish Head made, where it was the Peruvian corn beer, and they would chew the fucking corn. It was hard corn, and spit it into the cup, and it was the spit that would start breaking down the enzymes. No, I don't want to drink that. I don't care how good it's supposed to be. I don't want to drink that.
Yeah, that is legit gross. Like that is that South American. Hey, let's chew up this shit and then spit it out and ferment it. Like, yeah, that's kind of gross. But if anything's going through like a boiling process and a fermentation and all that shit, it doesn't matter anymore. All that stuff's fucking filtered out of the fucking beer. Like it's gone. So it doesn't matter. I mean, a goddamn fucking diseased rhinoceros can piss in the fucking tank as long as it's goddamn sanitized and filtered and whatever. It doesn't matter. It has no bearing on the final product.
Are you saying I have diseases, sir?
Yep, you probably do.
We are saying that.
I'm speculating, but you know, it's an educated guess. Is what it really is.
I think tomorrow I'm going to try and get my wife to live stream video gaming with me, and we'll try and beat Turtles in Time.
Oh, good luck.
I told her she better beat it with me, because if me and my 5-year-old son could almost beat it, she should be able to do it with me.
Yeah.
And he didn't do anything. I was sitting there going, Aiden, you got to hit a button!
Yeah, hit a button. Kick that motherfucking foot soldier in the fuck face.
I have a question.
Ask
Can I ask a question?
Yes, ask it.
Okay. I thought of this while I was buying Chad's lager that he wanted to try. So, I see all these companies coming out, and their only beer is a lager, right? And I know it's a safe thing, people drink lager, blah, blah, blah. Is there really enough market to support all these lagers? I mean, most macro companies make lagers, and most, old school beer drinkers, like the old people of the world and the people who are very set in their ways, they drink those, they drink their Blues, Labatt's, blah, 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 whatever. And now they have all these other lagers coming out. Is there really that many people drinking lagers, especially people interested in buying more expensive beer, that all these companies can sustain themselves on just having a lager they released in the LCBO?
A lot of them, before they open up their companies, excuse me, they already have their branding and plans out there. Like Triple Bogey, for instance. Triple Bogey is available at the LCBO and at some beer stores, and it's just a plain Jane lager that they don't even really brew. It's contract brewed, but it's contract brewed in the way that they actually pay another brewery to make it for them and then put their labels on it. And they make their money because they have exclusive rights to about 50% of the golf courses in Ontario.
Well, that's a good deal for them.
And you know what? I've
And
had
then,
their
like,
beer. It's actually pretty
Hill-
decent.
Ace Hill, yeah, the other one wasn't, though. The Hurry Hard, that's their other one.
Yeah, well,
I
yeah,
haven't tried that.
you see, if you got that kind of deal where your beer is the only beer that's going to show up in that place, then yeah, that's really good for you. But
Yeah,
Greg brings up a good
There's
point.
a lot of them, though, that come out and it's just a lager or just a Kolsch. Like Outlaw Brew Company is just a Kolsch. Yay, you make a Kolsch. It's a pretty good Kolsch. It's probably my second favorite Kolsch out there, but that's the thing. You're my second favorite Kolsch, and my first favorite Kolsch in Ontario is the one that's available everywhere.
Yeah.
It's kind of like saying you're my second favorite eunuch. It's like, well, okay.
Well, and I mean, like Ace Hill Pilsner there. Ace Hill Pilsner is making its money because it's in a bunch of high-end restaurants because he was friends with a bunch of high-end chefs. So he got into all the high-end restaurants. That's how he's making his money. Lost Craft is apparently another one that's in a lot of high-end restaurants as a Kolsch. It's like you either have to come into the market knowing that you're going to be like facilitating your product only to hipsters and everything, or you have to come out with better product.
Yeah, I wouldn't jump into the market cold and start with a fucking lager. Like, if you have no connections, you have no built-in market where you know you're going to be able to sell this shit, why the fuck would you start with a lager?
Well,
That's
and
just
I
the
mean,
dumbest
you
move.
go into it too, and you think about a lager. A lager, if you're a contract brewer, nobody really wants you making a lager because you're taking up their space longer.
Yeah,
And if you're not
that's
a
right.
contract brewer, you still have a hard time keeping up your numbers because it takes longer to make.
Yeah.
Like TWB, Together We're Bitter. Colin was sitting there telling us that he loves his Pilsner. His Pilsner is his favorite beer that he makes, but he would rather make 15 batches of his blonde ale, which has the exact same malt bill and everything, just with ale yeast and fermented for like 6 days instead of 3 weeks, instead of making 4 batches of Pilsner.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not even really when you're trying to balance like money and time and shit, and you're starting out with a brewery. It's not even really economically feasible to start with a lager. You wanna get a beer you can make really quick and put it.
You okay there, Lee?
I'm okay. I was kind of burping and talking at the same time, so.
My internet's going to shit. I've been logging off, backing on. I don't know if you saw me. You know, I'm back.
We
Can you hear me?
noticed,
Sister.
Yeah, we noticed you. We're like, where'd Vincent go? Where's our former alcoholic radar?
Yeah, we do have two comments here. Kevo Official says, "Did you clean the cat shit?"
Yes, man. So the toilet did die on the Tuesday. It was fixed on the Thursday at about 1:30 in the afternoon, which was about 5 to 10 minutes before I had to shit. It was one of those things where I had given up on the toilet for a bit, and I'm like, okay, Christy's going to be home. When she gets home, I'll get her to take me to the hardware store, and I'll just get a wax ring and do it the old-fashioned way. And things will be good. I'll get her to drop me off at a shitter, too. And then at about 1, the shit pain started up. And I'm like, okay, she told me she was leaving at 11, so that means she'll get here around 1:30. I go to check my text. She left at like 12:45. I'm like, I can't hold this for that long. So it was hardcore pumping with the fucking broken plunger until it ended up clearing.
Chad, do you have a backyard?
Yes.
Could you have
Small.
just shit? Could you have just like? Yeah, it doesn't matter the size though. Is it big enough that you could crouch and shit in your backyard?
My backyard isn't that small. It's a side lot. Good.
Yeah.
It was tiny before. It's big now.
Here's
At
what
least
you
compared to
need.
what it was.
Here's what you need to invest in. You need to start a garden. That way, if you ever run into this problem, you can just fertilize the garden.
Well, like I
That's
said, I had my plan. I was going to shit into a brewing bucket, put the lid on it and put the airlock in and leave that until I fix the toilet.
But that seems unnecessarily complicated. Just shit
It's
on
not
the grass out in
unnecessarily
the back. Just
complicated.
shit on the grass outside, then clean it up like you would a dog shit.
Yeah, you're really kind of like throwing an Ocean's 11 problem into
No.
basically, take the
No.
thing and run problem.
No, it's a Ocean's 11 solution to like a very simple math problem.
Yeah. Other comment here. Cam Haynes says, "I live in El Monte, Ontario, and almost every small town around me has Almont.
Almont.
Okay,
Almont.
okay, Elmont. Who gives a fuck?
Give a fuck. The Almont Orangemen fucking suck. The Almont Orangemen fucking suck. Okay, continue.
Wow,
Well,
way to
then-
alienate our one viewer.
Yeah, and he says every small town around him has a craft brewery. Calabogie, Ashton, Stalwarts, Whitewater, Crooked Mile, and Perth. This seems to be happening everywhere in Ontario. Do you guys know if the explosion of craft breweries is hurting the major brewery sales yet?
Well, the craft brewing industry was having double-digit growth for the last 5 years. So far this quarter, they've only been at 7%, so it's gone down. But I mean, at the same time, I think we're starting to stagnate where we have way too many breweries coming out, where growth can't happen as much because people are spreading their money across more breweries now instead of just buying, more craft beer. I'm buying the same amount of craft beer, just the growth isn't happening because I'm spreading it across everybody now. But yeah, where's Stalwart? I don't even know where Stalwart is. I know that even fucking
He
even
says
Pakenham has a brewery now.
he says Stalwarts is in Carlton Place.
I've never had anything from. See, every time I go up to Ottawa, there's so many new breweries in Ottawa that I hit up Ottawa, and I mean, my family's all the Ottawa Valley, so you think I'd hit all those. I've had a lot of the beers from Perth. Perth is actually one of those breweries where none of their beer is spectacular, but it's so cheap. It's like $1.65 a can. It's actually the cheapest they're allowed to sell it for, and it's all solid. It's all drinkable. So I mean, you can't ask for much more than that. Whitewater does some okay stuff, but yeah, like Calabogie, like he said, has a brewery. Coburn has a brewery. Pakenham has a brewery. Smith Falls has a brewery. It's a contract brewery right now, but they have a brewery. All these small towns are opening them, which is great because then you get your local beer. But is it going to be enough to really damage the big guys? I don't think anytime soon until these guys have a name for themselves. Because in the small towns is still your bastions of things like OE and Old Vienna and 50 and Golden and everything else. Like the small towns are where you normally find the really old school beer.
Yeah.
Fuck, Brador. I can still get Brador in Arnprior.
Yeah, the thing I always find so funny about how stuff works is that in Ontario, yeah, craft beer is a little more expensive. It's not that much more expensive. Like, what does a sixer of Coors Light go for? Like $11, and a sixer of a decent craft beer, like a lager, $12, $13. I mean, we're not talking a lot of money, but like in the States, basically,
In the States, the price difference is huge.
it's gigantic. It's like literally, like I've seen like 24 packs of Coors Light when I was in Michigan, and it was
for
like
like $9.99.
Yeah, $9.99 on sale.
And then you get a fucking 6-pack of something that's craft, and it's like $15.
I bought a assorted 6-pack at it's a liquor store, and they have an awesome selection of craft beer, hundreds of craft beers. And I bought an assorted pack. Now, granted, these were double IPAs, so they're a little bit more expensive. But it was an assorted 6-pack, and it cost me $21 US for 6 beers. So that's like $26, $27 Canadian. I could have bought literally 48 of like Coors Light or something equivalent for that much money. So if I wanted to get shit-faced, the macro would be where the value is.
Well, see, and that's the thing, right? I get weirded out because we always talk about price being the big detractor from craft beer. And I understand price being a detractor from craft beer, but I don't understand how the U.S. can have the craft beer boom it has, and Canada can be stagnant where people don't really want to spend the money on craft beer, where craft beer is only a couple bucks more here, where in the States it's like 200% more.
See, I think there's a stereotype in the States that there's a lot of ignorance, a lot of people that are very set in their ways and they don't want to change anything. And granted, I think in some cases that stereotype might be true. But when it comes to beer, I think the U.S., for some reason, is just way ahead of us.
Way ahead of us, even in the adventurous factor, like in the try it factor. Like it's the weirdest thing when you think about it. I mean, if I bought a 2-4 of I buy a 2-4 of say Heineken, it's $48. I buy a 2-4 of say I don't know Cameron's Lager, and then I'm spending like $57. So yeah, I'm spending $9 more, but the money's staying in Ontario. It's going to an Ontario company, and the beer is just as good. But and I mean, if you really like it, is $9 more on 24 bottles all that much difference? But then you go to the States, and like you said, you could get 24 cans of Coors for $9.99 on sale, or you can get a 24 pack of, say, I don't know, what's a big lager there that's not from the bigger companies. I don't know, like
a Sam Adams or something. Or
Sam Adams is still big enough that their prices are actually fairly good.
Well, okay,
let's say Flying Bison. You get a 2-4
like
Flying Bison's lagers, and you're looking at like $30-something. So there, you're looking at a difference of over $20. I can understand that being a detractor more than I can understand $7 or $8.
Yeah, I mean, I could certainly see, like, if I was in the States, 100% every time I had any sort of party or any sort of, get-together, it would be like Coors Light or whatever the fuck was on sale, because $10 for 24, well, you've got your night right there.
Now, I can understand the argument about, say, the buying your Coors Light over the $15 or $20 750s that some people put out. Like, I've actually had a bunch of people, not from this area, that have been like, hey, can you send me some stuff from the exchange? And I no.
You tell them what the price is.
Well, I'm not the guy that wants to do dollar for dollar or anything like that, but I'm like, I will not go and spend $15 on a regular IPA. I'm sorry, it's not happening.
No, it's unless you're at this point in your life where money means absolutely nothing to you and you've already got a collection of Lamborghinis and really whatever, you don't care. Fine. Otherwise, for everyone else that has bills to pay, a mortgage to pay, car payments, you got to at least consider it a little bit, because these beer prices do add up after a while. Like, there have been months where I've literally dropped $500-$600 on beer. Not because I intended to, because I just overspent and didn't really think about what I was doing. And, that adds up after a while. I'm not in a position where I can afford to do that every single month.
No, there are months where I spend nothing, and there are months where I spend a lot. It all matters. I'm going to be drinking this next. Uber, the Raspberry Uber from Nickelbrook.
Oh, nice. And the thing that just fascinates me about the States is that shit that's, like, exciting for us. Like, we're like, sour beers, barrel-aged stouts, although that's becoming a little common in Ontario. Meads is another interesting thing. I know it's not quite a beer, but it's beer-like. That's all shit that it's like, hey, if you can get it in Ontario, people will line up for it. They will get every single bottle. They will pay almost any price for it. Meanwhile, in the States, that shit, you go to a Myers, which is their big Walmart. They have Walmart there too, but Myers is like the Michigan thing. They just have that shit sitting on the shelf. It's like, oh, yeah, barrel-aged stouts, here you go. Here's Dragon's Milk, and then you got different soured beers, and then you got meads. Meads are fucking expensive. Like, they're like, for a bottle, like a 500 milliliter bottle, they're like $7-8 US. But, I mean, they're like, but if you happen to like meads and you're willing to pay the price, oh my God, they got some amazing selections in the US.
Oh, there we go. Sorry, I had to shift myself. So today was my my meal for Employee of the Month.
Ooh.
And my manager had to do a speech about me, and I told him I would stab him in the eyes if he said anything more than like 5 words.
Chad is really good.
Chad do work good.
Do work good, Chad. Chad do work.
Well,
That's
the
6
greatest
words.
thing was that in my department there was 2 awards for Employee of the Month this month. It was myself and a older lady server named Alana, and we both hate groups, and we both hate being centered out and all that. And the first thing he said is, I ran a competition to find out who would be the 2 people that would hurt me the most if I did this to them, and these 2 won. And she's just glaring at him, and he's like, please keep anything sharp, including a fork, away from her.
Chad, I have a question.
Go
ahead, Mr. Lee.
I was just going to say, I can get behind that kind of sense of humor. It's like he knows he could be stabbed potentially, but he's going to prod you in that way. He's not some milk with toast douchebag who doesn't know what he's doing.
Oh yeah, well he did his speech for Alana. He walked over and stood beside Alana, did a speech for her, and he's sitting at the table beside me. So as he comes over to to sit down in his chair, he looks at me, slaps me in the arm, and goes, "Game's on. We'll see what happens in 20 minutes." Sits down.
Wow. Now Chad,
I lean over to his table. I go, "You do realize I'm 3 of you, right?" Yep, I do. Don't worry. That's why I'm sitting at the table full of security guards.
Nice. I like this guy.
Do you think there's any chance you might win Husband of the Month at your house?
No.
Okay.
At the very least, he'll win Impregnator of the Month.
I would hope it's the only one this month.
Well, the sister-in-law will be here for 3 days.
That's
Friday.
That's just
Are you going to impregnate her too? Because if so, good for you, my friend.
I can't condone that. That's just out of line.
No, I don't necessarily condone impregnating her, but
you condone. Oh, shut up! You condone it. No,
I don't condone.
Don't even pretend, Greg. Don't even pretend.
No, I don't like children, so I'm not into the whole impregnation thing. But
I don't like children either. But you condone. You condone albino seed being spread. I know you do.
Well, I do condone that, and I mean I don't want to get Chad in trouble in case his wife is watching. But Chad, I know what you did, and you're my hero. You are my hero, good sir.
We don't need another hero.
Oh God, Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome.
That's right, Radar. You're the man.
Wow, I would never have picked that up. I've only watched that movie. I've only ever watched that movie, I think, once.
That's all you
I saw it a couple of times. It's not bad.
How about Blood of
not
Heroes?
bad.
Did you ever watch Blood of Heroes?
No.
Rutger Hauer?
Never seen that.
Oh, you gotta go watch that.
I'll tell you, the first 2 Mad Max movies are fantastic. Like the
Mad Max
Road
1
Warrior
was
and
good. Road Warrior was awesome. The third one was okay. But the new one was actually, some people hated it, but I liked it.
I love it.
I certainly
The new one, I loved it.
I certainly did not hate it, but I'm not in the love it camp either. I'm kind of in. It was a pretty solid movie.
I just love it for the fucking spectacle of it, and the fact that the majority of it is actually still practical effects.
Yeah.
Like 80% fucking stunt work and practical effects, 20% CGI altogether. And most of the CGI is just like the fucking background dust storms and shit that they did.
That's actually what I like about the Nolan Batman movies too. Is he did a lot of the actual stunts were actually done as opposed to CG stuff. I don't know about the third movie, but I know in the first 2 most of it was practical effects, and you know what? It makes a difference.
Yeah, but fucking Thunderdome has its merits. I mean, you know, it's got a lot of good lines at the very least, like Master Blaster runs Bartertown.
You know what? Like
Bartertown.
I love those movies more for their influence on sort of post-apocalyptic culture in games like Fallout and stuff like that, more so than I do like an actual thing. Like that city in what was it? Beyond Thunderstorm. That's essentially like the Fallout, both the Fallout 4 and the Fallout 3 cities, the Megaton and the Diamond City in Fallout 4. It's like not exactly the same, but it's very strong influence.
Yeah. How you doing, Jamie?
Good. How's it going, brother?
Good.
Mr. Jamie.
What are you drinking?
I haven't popped it open yet, but I have a Grisette
Excuse me.
Ooh.
Belgian table beer from Block 3.
Ooh.
Hey, Jeff.
What's the
Well,
ABV of that
a
one?
grisette would be a saison, but instead of being for farm workers, it would be for miners, and not like young people, miners with the pickaxes.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
you
not,
gotta be-
not miners, but miners.
Yeah, you got to be careful with that. I was telling people I had sex with minors the other day. I ended up getting arrested. I have no interest in children. I just like people who dig underground. That's my fetish. So what can I say?
So you're like, check me out. I actually have black lung. I have black lung from sucking so much miner dick.
Just into soot.
Listen, I can't get off if there's not a canary somewhere nearby.
A canary let me know I've gone too far. Yeah.
And you asked it's a 3.5%.
Nice. That is the proper alcohol.
You know what? That is the one thing I like about Block 3 is they actually do most of their beers properly to style. Their saison.
Yeah, I was going to say you said doo-doo. Greg beat me to it.
Yes, I did.
Their saison, for instance, the King Street saison is under 5%. It's one of the few just regular saisons that are out there that would be under 5% in Ontario. They're coming for you, Greg.
Holy fuck, Greg! What the fuck goes on in your fucking town, man? Like, goddamn, every time it's like sirens going or
He
fucking
lives in the
people.
GTA, man.
Jesus, man. Crazy.
And this beer is actually it tastes like a light version of the King Street Saison.
Nice.
It's good.
Which it should have.
Super, nice and thirst quenching beer. It's good.
I love
But you should.
all the beers they're coming out with now with that Kevin's there.
I mean, essentially,
You try these? Oh, sorry, Lee, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, essentially, table beers are light pale ales, and saisons are light pale ales. So they should be registering on that level, right?
Yeah, and I like the low ABV beers myself. I'm not a big guy, so the barrel-aged beers kind of kick my ass. So once in a while, I like the low stuff. I was gonna say, Chad, have you tried their sour yet?
No.
Try a little sample of it. It's pretty good. I'm not a sour fanatic, so
I was harassing Kevin to send me a bottle of it, and he was all like, "Oh, it's only on tap," and I'm like, "Kevin, how long have you been a brewmaster?"
they had it in bottles.
Oh, see, when I talked to him, it was only on tap, and they had like 5 different variants of it with different fruits, and I'm like, "Send me a bottle of each of them." Oh, they're only on tap. I'm like, "You can take a bottle, put it up to the tap, fill it, wait, make sure there's still some foam on it, tap it, and put it in the mail. You've just bottled it for me. I will pay you whatever it would cost for a pint glass of each of them. Just bottle it and send it to me." Oh, I don't know if I... Okay, Kevin, I'm going to kick you in the gonads when I see you next.
I don't know Kevin. Is he the brewmaster or?
Yeah, he is the... he used to be the brewmaster at Wellington. And then when the original brewmaster, who was part owner of Block 3, who was from Wellington, decided he didn't want to be a brewmaster anymore, he wanted to have a life on the weekends and everything, was stepped down from the brewmaster spot. He said he'd only do it if Kevin would come over, and Kevin came over. That's why George Eagleson went over to Wellington, and why Marvin Dick is now the Wellington brewmaster.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what George comes up with. He's
Yeah,
going
now
to be doing
that he has
crazy stuff there.
the crazy stuff. Yeah.
I loved his eggnog beer at Stonehammer.
Excuse me. Did you ever try his Why Not?
No.
That was his asparagus and smoked meat beer.
Oh, god damn.
Sounds terrible.
It
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
And he
As it
full
should
on
be.
it was terrible.
But hey, he tried it. He tried it. Gotta give
This
him props.
asparagus is a vile weed.
He was determined to at least try it and try to make it good. So hey, you gotta give him fucking respect for that shit. It wasn't a gimmick bullshit kind of thing. It was like, hey, let's see if we can actually do this with these really weird fucking ingredients. See if they actually work in beer. Oh, they don't. Okay, we're never gonna do this shit again. Somebody had to do it. So
I love George. He's an awesome guy. He's one of the coolest people I've met in the industry in my years doing this.
Yeah.
It was the most unprofessional interview I did too, because I couldn't stop laughing at the guy because he's out there. He's so out there, it's not even funny. I remember we were off camera at one point. He's like, "Let's do part of the interview where we're both standing inside the brew kettle." I can't get in the brew kettle. He's like, "Yeah, we can try. Let's do it. Let's try." Like, you could go in the top hole if you have to. Well, how do I get out? We'll figure that out afterwards.
we'll butter you up, sunshine. We'll squeeze you back out. That is a level of enthusiasm that I like to see in every brewer. That's awesome. That is a true engagement of the fan base, and yeah, that's good.
Come on, guys. There's 6 of you. Somebody comment. Somebody give us.
Yeah, really, someone should. I mean, we have no comments. Don't be afraid. You can say, I might say mean things to you, but, take the chance. Put a comment on there, and we'll respond to it. I mean, if it's...
responded to everyone so far. We even responded to Michael McManus's one on Facebook.
Yeah,
There
exactly.
are no
I
stupid
mean,
questions.
well,
There are no stupid questions.
no,
Like,
There are very stupid questions. Let's just make that really clear. And if you make a stupid question, I'm going to call you out on it, but we will respond. That is the only promise. We will respond to every comment and question, no matter how fucking stupid and inane it is. You have to be a man and man up and take that chance. But, we'll engage with you.
So since we're at the part of the show where we're out of beer topics and nobody wants to talk to us, I did just get from my buddy Randy. He picked up Star Trek: The Next Generation Season 3 for me because it was the one season I was missing, and I was watching it. And while I'm watching it, I get to episode 8, which is called The Price, and then I had this revelation, which is a revelation I didn't think I would ever have, which is a memory of the very first time I got a Woody. And it was from that episode. So, first and foremost, I guess the question is, do you guys remember your first Woody and what was going on? But it was the episode where Deanna Troi was falling in love with this negotiator, and she ends up having sex with him, but you don't see sex. It's just her in her nightgown, laying on top of him, and then he's rubbing her body down and this and that, and she's exercising with the doctor, and that was the first one. But I thought it was I thought remembering your first Woody was much like remembering your first sexual experience in general, because you get all excited remembering it, and then you're looking at what it was that got you hard, and then you get disappointed. Because she ain't all that good looking now that I'm 30-something years old instead of 12.
Oh, I remember mine. I was 13 years old, and the first time I watched Animal House. And that was a TV edit at that, so there was no actual nudity. But still, pretty good. I think it was the scene in Animal House where the dude was making out with the chick in the car, where he pretended to be this different guy and basically lied to her so he could feel her up. Yeah.
How did you know my life story?
Exactly.
No, this is something that that we should have talked about when Greg was here.
Yes, you should have.
How about you, Radar? Do you remember?
No. I had a huge crush on Anna Paquin back when she was young, and I think
Oh.
might.
Anna Paquin. Have you seen the movie? Have you seen the movie Trick or Treat?
Yes, she's hot in that.
No.
Yeah. She does. Okay.
She's
first
hot
of all,
in True Blood.
well, yeah, she gets naked in True Blood. She does not get naked in Trick or Treat. I think that's actually before
She
did
has a
True
hell
Blood.
of a body.
She's really hot in that movie, Phil. First of all, and that movie itself is just amazing. And you should, if you have any interest in horror and Halloween, you should see that movie because it's fucking fantastic.
It's a great anthology movie. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you just care about that, she is very hot in that movie. Too,
Yeah. I totally co-sign that.
Yeah, co-sign. Oh, I grabbed the wrong scotch. I'll be back.
I wish I had that problem.
What's the name of the movie where? Oh fuck! What's her name? She comes up the pool with a red bikini.
Oh,
she walks up to Judge Reynolds with
Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Yes.
That's Phoebe Cates. That's Phoebe Cates.
Phoebe Cates. Phoebe Cates. You're right. And she still looks hot.
Yes.
I saw a picture of her like a couple of years ago, and she still looks gorgeous.
She still looks great. Yes, she does.
And watching that movie, I had my dad when I was young. I'm like, wait a minute, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. Phoebe Cates still looks fucking great. Yes, she does. And she got naked in a lot of stuff in the 80s too. So there was that. There was Private School. There was one where she was like on a tropical island or some shit. I can't remember what the fuck it was.
She's married to Kevin Kline.
Hey, Kevin Kline, way to go, dude. Way to go, dude.
Asshole.
Yeah, asshole, but way to go, dude.
Are you talking about me?
No, we were talking about how Kevin Kline is an asshole for marrying Phoebe Cates. Oh, well, yeah, there's the right scotch right there, yeah.
No, the reason is because I'm going to smoke a cigar, and Ardbeg Ugadal, my favorite scotch, I don't like to have that with anything else other than by itself, maybe with a titch of water. Corey Brecken, very good scotch, fantastic, but it's basically just like a 10-year-old that's just more powerful, and I feel that lends itself well to going with the cigar, because there's not a whole lot of nuance to it. It's just like, it's...
Yeah, I noticed that he's saying the exact same thing he said for the last 3 weeks.
I'm normally drunk. I'm normally drunk when I'm on this show. I don't remember what I said last week. I don't remember what I said the week before.
You remember when you passed out in your chair a couple times out on the balcony?
Well, I don't remember it, but there's
how long?
photographic evidence.
What time did you wake up at and go inside?
Oh, it was like 11:30. I woke up before the end of it, before you guys left. Like I woke up before the show ended.
Yeah.
And anyway, fuck you. I've only said that thing about the scotch once before. So fuck you, Chad. You never repeat yourself.
I don't. Any more comments, questions?
Let's
I heard my phone make the foghorn, so I figured there might have been one.
Okay, let's look.
Kevin Kline, if you're watching, fuck you.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm sure Kevin Kline's right on there. Cam Haynes says, got totally pissed on Nickel Brooks, Kentucky Bastard. Loved it. What part of the beer making process do they put the bourbon? They don't put bourbon in the thing. They use bourbon barrels is what the process is.
Buffalo Trace, I do believe, is what they are using.
Yeah.
But what they do is they brew the beer, which is Bolshevik Bastard. They take Bolshevik Bastard, they put it in bourbon barrels, and it sits in the bourbon barrels for a year. So in that year, it's maturating with the barrels. It's soaking in the bourbon that is still in the wood because they use wet wood. That's why the ABV goes up from where it was as Kentucky Bastard. And then they have giant holding tank, which is what they remix it into because you have to mix them down so that they actually taste good. Because some barrels might have soured, some barrels might have had bacteria you didn't know were there, and some barrels might be more dry, some more sweet. So you mix them in your holding tank, and then from your holding tank you bottle.
I'm actually frightened at the idea of what it would be like if they had just taken like the regular stout and put bourbon in it, like just like dumped bourbon in it, and then released it, like that would be kind of fucking gross.
What is it? The Refined Fool had their bourbon porter, the Rip Snorter, that became a vanilla porter after that. Is it still vanilla or is it back to bourbon now?
No, I think it's vanilla.
And when they first made it, when the Rip Snorter was originally made as a bourbon porter, that's what they did, was they poured some bourbon in it.
That's fucking well. They probably put a small amount, did they?
It was whatever they did at the beginning. That beer was so good, and then once they made it vanilla, it's so sweet. It's gross now.
See, if you're dumping like a teeny bit of bourbon into your beer, and just to sort of put an accent on the flavor or whatever, that's fine. But if you're dumping a bunch of bourbon, like
they didn't have a big brew house at the time, so they would have been doing just a little bit.
Yeah, if you're dumping a bunch in, that would be appalling. Like that would ruin the beer. Like the beer would be highly alcoholic, and it would probably just taste like fucking rubbing alcohol, probably.
And you'd really have to force carbonate it up again.
Yeah. True.
I'm wearing my Cookie Monster underwear.
Yeah.
And the legs are shorter in the back than on the front, and I'm in this leather chair, so my thighs are getting stuck to the chair. It's not a good time.
Yeah, you know what's even less of a good time? You telling us about it.
No, that's a good time. Me telling you about it is the best time.
No, it's really not good.
I'm a little turned on, to be honest.
Well, yeah, that's a minority opinion right there.
I did a beer review a few weeks back, and I edited the whole thing out. And I wish I hadn't, because I should have left it in. But I was sitting there, and I'm like, yeah. I did the usual. I don't really want to stand up because I'm naked, but because I'm gonna get Aaron on the keyboard, I'm gonna have to stand up. Did the cover like Guy and Nick got to see, and then I had to edit it out because it wouldn't have lasted on my channel.
God, what horrors did Guy and Nick see this time? What the fuck?
Bubba was the worst of them all, because I was going to take a shower that night, so I didn't have to shower in the morning, and I screamed down the hall, "I am completely naked. Nobody come out of their rooms." And Bubba comes out of my son's room, going, "What did you just?" Oh, and turns around and walks.
Oh, that's what you said. Yes.
Chad, you've told us that story like 2 or 3 times before. Why don't you stop repeating yourself?
You're right, I did.
Yeah. Now I have to.
To his base.
It was memorable though. I heard it from downstairs.
So I kind of imagine Bubba looked for the nearest grain alcohol and poured it into his eyeballs to burn the image.
The grain alcohol is down here. What was that moonshine from the Ottawa distillery that you left here?
Brought. Oh, he left it there?
Yeah, he wanted me to review it.
Here's all that ails you.
Now, the thing I want to just clarify about this for my own personal sake is, you said he came out of your son's room. Your son wasn't in the room, was he?
No, my son was my son and daughter were at their grandparents'.
Oh, okay. I just want to make sure there's no funny business going on.
No fun.
No funny business.
Now, if he came out of your wife's room, well, that would be a good time.
I'd be in jail if somebody came out of my wife's room.
Ah, dude, come on. There's nothing wrong with an Eiffel towering someone.
What the fuck is What? What?
It's Eiffel towering when you got a girl bent over, one's in the back, one's in the front, and then you're high-fiving at the top. Like an Eiffel Tower.
Okay, you learn something new every day. That's
Google search it. It's a thing.
What kind of cigar are you smoking, Greg?
It's
just a fucking Peter Jackson Slim.
No, it's a Cohiba. I think it's a Siglo 6. I am not 100% sure on that, but it's definitely a Cohiba, straight from Cuba.
Oh, nice.
I usually smoke Cohibas, not because I'm a snob, because I can usually get them very cheaply because I have a lot of family that goes to Cuba on a regular basis. So rather than cost $100, which is what this would cost me in Toronto, this cost me maybe 10, 15.
There's no such thing as snobbery when it comes to cigars. There's either good cigars or bad cigars. That's all there is. There's no in between.
There is. My dad bought me some cigars, and I mean, it's so nice of him because my dad's always trying to buy me some stuff when he goes on trips and stuff. He bought me some cigars from the U.S. I smoked one. I'm just like, this is fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I'm by no means a cigar expert or a cigar snob, but I can at least tell you that cigar was fucking like I was like smoking like a used baby diaper or something.
No, I mean there's legit cigars that you pair with anything, and then there's cigars that are just garbage. You might as well be smoking Captain Blacks. And I'm not discriminating because I've smoked garbage cigars before, and I've enjoyed them, but there is no middle ground. There's a cutoff point.
How many murders happen at your house every Wednesday night?
I don't know. It's an ambulance. It's Toronto. There's a lot of murders going on. Well,
goddamn.
I will say this is a good quality cigar. I quite enjoy this.
It's kind of like rum, actually, when you think about it. Like there's really good rum, and then there's just everything else.
Well, what are the other big Cuban cigars? There's Cohibas. There's
Monte Cristo. Like
Monte Cristo.
I think
and you can get the small Monte Cristos, like the skinny ones, the cigarello like ones, for like $3 sometimes.
The Romeo Julieto or whatever the fuck they are, those are really good.
Yeah.
Romeo Juliet. There's a bunch of them. There's
It's a Boys are pretty good.
I've had some Mexican cigars too that were pretty good. A buddy of mine brought them back for me.
I mean, I think if you want bang for buck, now granted Toronto or Canadian prices are going to be way more expensive, but in terms of bang for buck, I think the Monte Cristo number 2s, they're like they're not cigarellos, but they're small cigars. You can smoke them fairly quickly. I think those are probably the best bang for buck because I think you get 3 of them for like $8 or something in Cuba.
Oh, that's nice. And yeah. I like those little cigarellos because every time you smoke them, you feel like you're in a goddamn spaghetti western or something like that. Like all of a sudden you're Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, I mean they're not committal. Like
yeah, I think like regular Marlboros in the U.S. are the same kind of thing, really in a way, aren't they? Like they're kind of that. Isn't like regular Marlboro cigarettes like they're kind of like dark paper and they're a little bit more harsher than regular cigarettes.
Well, I mean, last year when I went on a tour of Havana, we went to like a really big cigar shop in Cuba, and the thing is, alcohol in Cuba, if you ever happen to go there, pretty much the exact same price anywhere you go. Whether it's duty-free, whether it's on the resort, whether it's at a government shop, it's the same across the board. Cigars are not. You will always pay more at a government shop you'll always pay more at a resort shop than you will at a government shop. So when we went on a trip to Havana, we went to one of the bigger government shops, and they had like these. It was really cool because they had like a 5 or 6 pack of cigars, and it was like in a Ziploc bag, but it was basically like a sampler pack. You could try different cigars.
Oh,
and
nice.
I don't know much about cigars, right? But I kind of, as I was smoking them, I looked up information about it. And there's these ones, I believe they're called Maderos, and it's basically like they do it's the cigar, the inside is aged for I think 6 months or something, and the wrapper is aged for like 3 years. And they're a bit more expensive, but they're not crazy more expensive. You're talking like maybe like $3-4 more a cigar over, say, just a more conventional cigar around the same size. Oh my god, it was so fucking good. It was just this is like cigar heaven.
Now, this was like maybe even like 10 years ago now, but has anyone ever seen that commercial on the internet? It was a cigar commercial where this woman was basically rolling a wrapper on a cigar between her tits. Has anyone ever seen that commercial?
You know what? No. It rings a bell. Like
there was this really dark-haired, like lovely-looking, slightly Latino girl, and she had a cigar, and she was. It started like it was rolling it between her tits, and then it like move up to her face, and it was like, yeah, all of our cigars are like all of our cigars are like hand rolled or whatever. I can't remember what the fucking brand was, but it was a legit commercial actually, where they just basically had this topless woman rolling a guitar or rolling a cigar, not a guitar, a cigar between her tits.
Wasn't that? Oh, Gee's here. Wasn't that one of those commercials where like all the social justice warriors threw a fit because it was sexist to women and then they had to ban
No,
it or something?
there were no social justice warriors back then.
Oh my God.
This is long before that.
Mr. Gee, do you have a time machine that I can go back to that wonderful time and I can use words like I can use all these words that I'm not able to use anymore, like gay and
Do you know words? Do you know the best words?
He has all the best words. He has the best words. He's going to be really good on words. He's going to say lots of words. They're going to be great. He's going to be great on words. He's going to be huge on words. Lots of huge words from Guy. He's going to be awesome on words. He knows a lot about words. A lot of the words like Guy. A lot of the words really like Guy on what he's saying. He's going to be great on words.
So many syllables.
Hey, just remember, Mr. Joe and Mr. Matt. I know you guys, and Mr. Ethan. I know you guys are watching this. Another 6 months, you're going to be calling him President Trump.
Fuck.
Damn.
Fuck.
Although, really, is it? I mean, look, I love Bill Clinton. I think Bill Clinton was probably one of the best presidents in recent memory. I think Hillary Clinton is almost as bad as Donald Trump. It's really this election. I don't think there can be any winner here.
If Sanders would have gone against Trump, Sanders would win easily.
I like Bernie Sanders. I was a fan of his, but he was too left for the typical U.S. redneck that just wants to have sex with his sister.
And he's also too much of a fucking nice guy, too. He's not fucking cutthroat like Hillary. Hillary's a fucking reptile, man. She's so goddamn cold-blooded.
Mm-hmm.
But Bernie Sanders is like, hey, I actually want to play this fair. I actually want to be the nice guy and, like, fair play and all that bullshit. Like, he should have got a bit mean.
You know what? I'm willing to bet that Hillary and Bill have not had sex in probably 20 years. But I think Hillary said, "Hey, you know what? I'm going to support you through this Monica thing. One day I'm going to try and be president, and you're going to fucking support me on that. These are the rules. Otherwise, I'm going to fucking divorce you, and it's going to be it's going to look real bad."
Oh, I'll say this: not only have Hillary and Bill not had sex in 20 years, Bill has had sex in 20 years, but Hillary has not.
Oh, that's probably true.
So, any comments?
No, we got. Let me check. Let me just refresh and see if we got anything new, anything relevant. Okay, here we go. Kevo Official says, "Have you tried the new Budweiser Zero ABV Prohibition? Really? Is that a thing?"
Yeah, it is, and no, I haven't.
It sounds wonderful.
Yeah. God damn it.
All I will say is whoever at Niagara Brewery College, whoever came up with that virgin craft lager needs to be punched in the face because that beer was fucking... I would literally rather drink Albino Rhino jizz than that beer.
Oh, the beer for Mad?
Oh my god, like come on, I understand. I hate drinking and driving too.
I hated reviewing the beer because I wanted it to be good. First off, I wanted it to be good, and then I drank it, and I knew that it was for a good cause and everything, and I had to rail on it. I'm like, look, I'm not railing on the idea of stopping drunk driving, but this near beer is one of the worst things I've ever drank.
Hey, I will 100% say if there was beer that tasted exactly the same as regular beer but was non-alcoholic, ideally even if it had less calories, that would be fantastic. I would drink that most of the time during the week when I'm going to have to drive or I have to be functional and stuff. I'd save the alcoholic beers for like Saturday nights or stuff. But the fact is, non-alcoholic beer is shit.
There was Caliper, the Guinness non-alcoholic beer. That one was actually okay. But that's the only one I can think of that I've had.
Don't lie about shit, dude.
No, it's the same thing as saying that a gluten-free beer is okay. It's okay compared to other things in its style.
Yeah.
Wow, my camera's fucking up good right now.
I remember I had a gluten-free beer at a beer fest when I was already drunk, and I thought it was okay.
You probably couldn't taste anything at that point. So yeah.
It was right between the point where I was shit-faced drunk and I blacked out. So
Yeah,
it was-
anything would have tasted like a fucking hermaphrodite dwarf could have pissed in your mouth, and you would have been like, "Yes, pretty good."
Beer 1 or beer 2, guys?
2.
beer, sure too. Why not?
Okay.
Lee, I've told you before. Don't judge my lifestyle, okay?
I'm not judging your lifestyle. I'm just commenting on it.
I enjoy the
Bang.
hermaphrodite midgets, okay?
Okay, well that's fine. I'm not judging it. I'm the world's tallest midget, so it'd be really on the pale for me to comment on midget sex.
Are you their king, Lee?
I very might well be. I mean, if I was surrounded by midgets and they recognized me as the world's tallest midget, they might crown me their king. It's a possibility.
Well, it's just like me going to a clan of pygmy albinos so that they could say I'm their god.
Yeah, but there's no such thing as a clan of pygmy albinos, so it's
Sure
never
there is.
going to happen. It's never going to happen. Sorry, I'm sorry, sir.
I was
I
going
want
to
to
bring, I was
see-
going to bring the entire clan of spear-wielding clansmen back here, and I was going to take over Canada because the military's so bad. I mean, if the man-child can be a fucking chief warrant officer, we're in a predicament.
Well, goddamn, you should be prime minister at this point, then, shouldn't you?
See, Chad, this is why Marvin won't join us anymore, because you're so damn racist talking about your clansmen.
No, Marvin won't join us because he's probably dead. He probably did one drug deal too many, and he's dead now. He got murdered.
Jesus Christ, Lee, he's in Jamaica. There's no drug deals in Jamaica.
Well, the last time we saw him, he was in his fucking car, and he was definitely going to a drug deal. I'm sorry. I don't want to be racist here, but he was going to a drug deal, and he got shot.
Marvin, if you're still out there, please come online. We apologize for Chad's racism. Please come online. Let us know you're safe, because we don't
I
want
love
you to
how
die.
the most unracist person in this entire place is the one that always is being told he's racist.
I don't think unracist is a word.
I love how you didn't apologize for my racism.
I
Lee's
can't
racism is
apologize for
totally
you.
great.
I've said it several times. I cannot speak for anybody else on this chat. I just can't. Just like people want me to shut people up on things they say. I can't stop what they're going to say. I can just sit here and say you're all idiots.
Chad is powerless. He's powerless. He cannot ban or kick us out of the chat. It's just not going to happen.
I'm not fully powerless. I mean, I can always do something like this. The problem is, for some reason, everybody can mute me as well, even though it's my chat.
That's true, we can. Also, here's the thing. Winter is coming. I know right now that we're on your TV. We're probably big. You're probably looking.
I feel better now.
Everyone does.
Anyway, Chad was saying he didn't like black people. I don't agree with him, but that's what he said. And, yeah, winter is coming. You should come on.
To be fair, everyone compared to Chad is actually a black person.
The worst thing we ever did, the worst thing my entire cast ever did, is when we sat Adam down at our table and said, and you know, most people that have been on the show, well, pretty much everybody that's been on the show has been white. It's not because I'm racist, because that's the people I can get to come on the show with me. My Asian friends don't want to drink beer on the channel. My black friends don't want to drink beer on the channel. But we sat Adam.
Black or Asian friends. He's lying.
We sat Adam down beside me, and we're like, he's one of our brothers, like real life brother. Who is it?
Oh yeah, I remember. He was but he's like half Asian dude, right?
No, he's his dad's from Africa.
Oh, okay.
That doesn't necessarily mean he's black, Greg. You're racist. There's white people in Africa. Just saying.
It's true. One of Agnes's friends was fucking a white guy from Africa.
That's right.
Is he from South Africa?
I think so, yeah.
It doesn't even need to be South Africa, you racist.
No, it's.
I think it was from South Africa, though. Except he was like if you had just met the guy, you'd think he was British, because he spoke with a very strong British accent.
Yeah, South Africa then. But no, he's the Cantankerous Cook's brother, and I remember when he used to show up at the Cantankerous Cook's bar that I used to bounce at, and he'd come in with like Paul's ID, and I'd just look at him and I'm like, why don't you go somewhere else with this? Like, first off, I know your brother. I'm good friends with him. Second off, you're black. This is white. Okay, go somewhere else with it.
Now let me ask you: do they share the same mother or the same father?
It's the same mother.
Oh, okay. Obviously, he's not as good at fisting as Paul is.
No, not as good at fisting as Paul.
No,
And apparently he does not sound like a rabid baboon when he's having sex.
He obviously doesn't know how to have good sex then.
Yeah, because unless your asshole is purple and
I'm just waiting for the
red.
day that the house falls down and the honey monster, the cantankerous cook, and the cartoon all die because the cantankerous cook was having sex in the attic. I'm waiting for that day.
I'm just waiting for the day that the cantankerous cook has too much to drink and the honey monster ends up getting ripped open from the asshole out.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm sorry, man. I thought you were a chick.
That's both incredibly brutal and very, very funny.
I'm pretty sure Paul has some weird magical powers because I was sitting down in the basement one day and both my doors were locked. And I know they were locked because I grew up in Ottawa. I lock my doors right away. As soon as I come in the door, I lock it. I'm the only one home. All my doors are locked. I'm sitting in the basement. I'm watching, I don't even remember what I was watching. I was watching something on TV. All of a sudden, the cantankerous cook's in the basement grabbing me. We're going drinking. I'm like, how the fuck did you even get in my house?
I was waiting for you.
Do you ever think maybe your wife let him in?
My wife was gone. I was the only one home.
So he snuck into your house and waited for you to show up so you could go drinking. That is both, very ingenious and very creepy at the same time.
Chad, do you think Paul could beat Brock Lesnar in a fight?
No.
I think he might be able to hit him a couple times and hurt him a little bit, but he'll still lose.
Yeah, he would. Brock Lesnar's a goddamn fucking freak, man. Like, he really is. You need to be actually a top-level fucking trained fighter to beat Brock Lesnar.
Well, because you fought him you fought him once or twice, haven't you, Chad?
Lesnar
wrestled
or
him.
Paul? I wrestled Lesnar.
Yeah.
I've gone in a couple fights with Paul.
And then that was Lesnar before his peak, by the way. I mean,
It would have been like 12 years ago.
And how much did he weigh at that point, Chad?
We were pretty close to the same. I think we were both sitting around I was like 280 because I just finished doing my strongman stuff, so I had dropped about 40 pounds, and he was probably 265.
Okay, so he's actually kind of the same weight at this point, but
yeah, he's just a lot different build now.
Yeah, he's very top heavy, muscular, and goddamn. Unless you're like a well-trained, like world-class fighter, you would not want to fuck with that guy at all.
He's a freak of nature.
Because I'm guessing you probably couldn't take Paul in a fight, right, Chad? Because you're a pretty tough guy, but I don't think you could take Paul.
In my prime, me and Paul were pretty even. Now Paul would take me fairly easily.
Yeah. So, and how'd you do against Brock Lesnar? Did you at least stand up to him, or did he just whip your ass?
No, I didn't do very good against Brock Lesnar. It was one of the very fastest matches I've ever had.
Well, that guy was a legit fucking champion, though, in amateur wrestling. Like that guy was at a different level than most people. So, I mean, just the fact you lasted for a little while with him is actually pretty fucking impressive.
For the record, Chad, I showed a girl, and I know this offends you a little bit. However, I was telling a girlfriend, not a girlfriend, but a lady at my work, that you do resemble Santa Claus a little bit. I apologize for saying that, but it's true. And she's like, let me see a picture of him. I showed her a picture of you, and she's like, if I wasn't married, I would legitimately fuck this guy so bad because he turns me on. No bullshit.
Oh, she's got a Santa fetish. Woo!
She does have a Santa fetish. She's
wow.
like, I would fuck this guy so bad.
She'd totally unwrap all his presents.
So.
Well, did I ever tell you guys what I got called down to the office for one day at work? So this new girl starts, a new server starts, and the first thing she says to me the second she sees me is Santa Claus. And most of you that know me know that every once in a while there's something that comes out of my mouth before I even have a chance to stop it. And she looks at me and she's like, "Hey, Santa Claus," and I'm like, "I want people that can't call me Santa, let me come down their chimneys." It was just, I couldn't even stop it. It came out, and the bartender, Cecile, this old French lady, is looking at me. She goes, "Did you just say what I think you said?" Yeah. She just,
Wow.
it's just like, I had a lady come up to the bar on Monday. I was working the busiest bar of the night, and we had this American lady come up, and she asked me about La Blatz. She ordered a La Blatz, and I looked at her and I go, "Yeah, draft or blattle." It just came out so fast. And there was 2 bartenders at the bar with me because I was ordering that day, and one of them, Vito was laying on the ground laughing, and Mickey was taking a drink out of his water when I said it, and boom, right on the screen, like he put it on the computer system. Because it was like milliseconds after she asked for a LeBlatz. Draft or blattle. Just boom.
Nice. You see, now that's something to be proud of. If you made an old French lady like take a double take on, did you just fucking say that? That's.
Oh, I do that for her a lot. She actually loves working with me and hates working with me at the same time because I'm a pain in her ass the entire shift.
So wait, did that chick do you get called down to HR because you said you'd come down that girl's chimney?
No, because I said only girls that let me come down their chimney call me Santa. And it wasn't HR. I got called down to my office first, so my soups.
Who got pissed off though? Like the girl who you said that to?
Yeah, she got pissed off.
Why? But
and I went down and they sat me down and they said, "What happened?" I go, "Well, she called me Santa within the first 2 seconds of meeting me."
You can say she called you. She said something racist against you. She said something that was discriminatory against your disability, right?
Oh, I don't even just use disability anymore. I go all out. I mean, it's discriminatory against my religion. I'm not Christian.
And hey, at the end of the day, she ended up getting a fucking snow globe down the throat. So there you go, whack it, schmack it, do.
No, I just find it funny how many people will say things but don't expect anything said back.
They don't expect repercussions. That's the thing. It's like, you're going to say that shit to my face? I'm going to say something back, or I'm going to punch you in the fucking face. And hey, you're probably a person who's never been punched in the face before. It's about time you learned what it feels like.
Yeah, it's not that fun.
Yeah, it's not that fun. If you've ever been punched in the fucking face, you learn respect real goddamn fucking quick.
I've been punched in the face by somebody who is a fucking pussy and I beat the shit out of them. It still fucking hurt.
And you still learn respect. You learn not to fucking mouth off to fucking people.
The cantankerous cook punched me in the face and I laughed at him.
Yeah, well, you're a freak.
It did hurt. I won't deny it.
No, it probably hurt. Yeah, shit, no shit. Oh, no, he kind of just like, just a little fucking paintbrush.
It's too bad you guys were never here when I used to manage Red Square, the bar that Paul and one of my ex-managers at the casino used to own, because the Red Square was in a old it was a dive bar. It was in a basement of a building, and the building used to be a YMCA like back in the 40s. So the basement's where the pool was. So the dance floor was over the pool. So there was like a wooden dance floor built over the pool. And every once in a while you had to go into the pool and check how the sump pump and everything was working because the drainage wasn't the greatest in downtown St. Catharines. And the cantankerous cook went down into the pool one day to check the drainage, and he told everybody in the bar, "Make sure you do not tell Chad I'm down here." He goes down, and somebody sneaks up to the door, somebody being a man toss of some type, and he goes, "Just so you know, Paul's in the pool." I come running in, he hears running footsteps on the dance floor, so you hear him screaming from under the dance floor, running towards the door to get out. I slam the door shut and sit on it. I left him down there for like half an hour. "I'm gonna fucking kill you, let me out of here." I had fun that day. I also had fun running away after I let him out.
It's probably a smart move to get the hell out of there.
It takes him a little bit to get up that ladder with his bad knees. I was okay to get out. There's so many great little stories from Red Square. One of the very last nights we were open, we had a legendary Klopek show, and for anybody that watches Sweet Pepper and the Great Orbex on YouTube, they're a circus sideshow. Well, Sweet Pepper Klopek was the head of the legendary Klopeks, and they actually have 2 Guinness World Records right now. One for the most amount of mouse traps snapped on your tongue in under a minute, and I don't remember what the other one was. But it was a Klopek show, very last show before our liquor license lapsed and we didn't pay for a new one. And this kid comes in. I let him in. He's completely sober when he comes in, but you know what happens. You know, the kids chug booze outside of the bar, come in because it's an all-ages show, and then they're fucked. Well, my wife comes up to the door, and she's like, Chad, you gotta go kick some kid out. He's fucked out of his mind. I get up, I go in, and this kid might have been like 110 pounds soaking wet, and this is back when I did strongman. I'm like, it's time for you to go, man. I'm here to see a show. Yeah, you gotta go. But I'm here to see... And this went on for about 2 minutes, and I'm like, okay, I've been nice, it's time to go. And he takes a swing at me. And again, 100 pounds soaking wet, and back then I was like 310, 320. And he takes a swing at me. I dodge it because he's drunk out of his mind. Boychuk's eyes just get wide. He goes running up the back stairs and opens the door. One hand under each armpit of the kid, picked him up, carried him up the stairs. From about 3 stairs down, I hoof him into the fucking dumpster. Well, I found out 10 years later that that's a kid I work with now at work. Came up to me, he goes, do you remember a Klopek show at Red Square? I go, yeah. He goes, do you remember a kid wearing a bunch of spikes and everything you threw out the back door into the dumpster? I go, yeah. Yeah, that was me. Oh, hey, how are you?
Yeah, how'd that dumpster treat you? You find any food there? What's going on?
Yeah, I thought it was fun. Or the Great Orbex. He actually has his doctorate in physics. He actually is a very, very smart man, and he does circus sideshow stuff. And one of his shows at Red Square was he would light himself on fire and get a brick broken on his chest. Well, his girlfriend at the time was the one putting the lighter fluid on him, and she's never done it before, so she squeezed too much on, and he got lit, and he had to go to the hospital. He had his first, second, and third degree burns all over his body. It was about 2 years later when he came back to Red Square, and he's on the stage, and he's like, what trick should I do? And I'm sitting in the door. I turn my head around the door, and I go, that trick where you caught on fire was pretty good. I put my head back out, and the room goes silent. Right? He does his show. He's off the stage. He has a beer. He's in the doorway talking to me. He goes, did you hear somebody scream that I should light myself on fire again? I go, yeah, that was me. You're a fucking asshole.
Nice. Hey, we now now for anyone who's keeping score, we now have 7 upvotes to 5 downvotes. Yeah!
Woo!
My God. As much as downvotes actually don't matter, we do appreciate the people who have upvoted. Thank you very much. You're very cool.
X-Men, the 5 Cuntsmen.
Cuntsman.
Having a cunt on your forehead does not make you an X-Men. Just saying.
Ultra fuck. Then Apocalypse makes you ultra mega fuck.
Meg Cunto. The master of vaginanism.
Lee, I liked your question on your latest podcast there.
Yes, we will reply to it, Jamie, on the next podcast.
Yeah, I thought that was a cool premise.
Yeah, I saw it on another podcast. It's like, that's a really good sort of desert island question. Like, that's one that really strips it down, and it's like, you really gotta fucking cut all the fucking chaff off and really make a decision.
Oh, is like, what would you rather do, like a midget or a 7-foot tall woman?
No,
No,
you
the
pick one
question.
actor, and you only get their filmography for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Who would
So
the one actor be?
so you
So
really
you
got
have
to
to
think.
pick. Do you pick a character actor that's been in a ton of stuff, or a young guy that might be in a bunch of stuff later, or just your favorite actor?
Listen,
Yeah.
I know you
Ooh.
film buffs may scoff at this, but I would pick Arnold Schwarzenegger. You get to see every Arnold movie from the 80s and 90s over and over again.
You know
I
that's a good
I
pick too. Like,
I could totally do that.
yeah, get some good films there.
And I mean, he's been in more stuff than just his fucking run of action movies too. I mean, there is other Arnold Schwarzenegger shit.
And there's
Not a
actually a
lot.
lot. There's a lot
The
that I
thing-
haven't seen. I haven't seen Conan actually.
Oh really?
Yeah,
The original
Oh, it was
Conan's
awesome.
the original Conan is a pretty cool movie.
Yeah.
Conan Destroyer is not good at all, and then Red Sonja, which is an unofficial Conan movie, also not a great movie. But here's the thing:
I'll say
Kindergarten Cop.
I'll
Haven't seen
say
that.
I'll say Conan the Destroyer is a lot of fun though. It is fun.
The
Well,
Barbarian is the best of the three, though. Conan the Barbarian.
Of course.
Oh yeah, it totally is.
Yeah.
And even then, it's not a great
Red
Conan
Sonja was
movie.
so bad that
that's the thing, though. Is also
whenever Arnold Schwarzenegger's children would misbehave, he would force them to watch Red Sonja. That's how I read
Bridget
somewhere.
Nielsen is scary.
I don't hate Red Sonja. It's not that terrible.
The music was good though. It was Ennio Morricone.
Yeah, yeah.
The
I
guy
just
that did
wish
the
that
music
Conan the
Good
Destroyer
Man
had
Deadly.
the same characters.
yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is with Schwarzenegger is that even his bad movies are still fun to watch.
Well, Commando is like the ultimate really terrible movie that is so fucking awesome to watch. Like,
Just to get you,
When he jumps
I
out of the airplane, like what the fuck?
yeah, just that final scene where he wipes out an entire fucking army. Half of them are fucking like obvious paper targets that they set up and are along buildings that he could blow up and kill them all. Like that is a fucking great fucking sequence. It's so bad that it's fucking good. Like that
I
is
mean, if you want a filmography though of a character actor or just any actor at all, and you want to make it worthwhile, you can do something like Bruce Campbell, because you get all of his movies, then you get Bruce Campbell versus the Army of Darkness, the TV show Ash versus the Evil Dead there,
yeah.
and you get because he's Autolycus, you get Xena and Hercules,
Yes.
you get Jack of all trades, you get so much more stuff you could watch.
And he's had so many bit parts too. He was in Darkman.
Yeah,
he had
all the Spider-Man movies.
yeah, and
Yeah,
all
he had
Spider-Man
bit
stuff. I was like, when I answered the question, I was thinking Harry Dean Stanton because he was in just so many shit. He's been in so many movies from like fucking Sam Peckinpah onwards. I mean, he was in the recent the first Avengers movie. He was in that. Also, you could think about like fucking oh god, what's his fucking name? He's in all in Joe Dante's movies. He was in Gremlins, Gremlins 2. God damn it, I can't think of his name, but he's also a really great character actor. That's where I'd gravitate towards. Like you kind of look at character actors who have been in like multiple genres, multiple movies. They have like maybe like 100 or more credits to their name. That's where
Yeah.
I like gravitate towards.
Cole Meany.
Call Meany even, like he's been in tons of shit.
You don't realize that the only thing he's really known for is Star Trek: The Next Generation and Deep Space Nine, but he's been in so many things. Con Air, just so much stuff, and half the time you don't even realize it's him because he can put on weight and lose weight so easily.
Yeah.
And he
Sure,
naturally
sure.
has an Irish accent, so if he's not playing an American, you don't know it's him.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about Chief O'Brien on Star Trek?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I see that. He was in Die Hard 2 as well.
I heard too. The pilot of the planet crashes.
Yeah.
Lee, I think the Gremlins actor you really gotta go for is Corey Feldman.
Corey Feldman would be a good one because he was in a lot of interesting shit like throughout the years. Like he was in Goonies. He was in one of the Friday the 13th movie, two of the Friday the 13th movies actually.
Isn't he the guy that does
Definitely, yeah.
Raphael Ninja Turtle?
He did. He did. I think he did a voice in. I think he did a voice in 2 of the original Ninja Turtle movies, but I think he played 2 different ones. I think he played Donatello in one, and then he played a different one in another movie.
Yeah,
if
he
I'm
was
not mistaken.
Raphael in one of them.
Yeah, like it was weird. But another movie he was in, which I really love. It's not a super well-known movie. It's called The Burbs. It's an early Tom Hanks movie.
Oh, The Burbs is fucking awesome. That's one of the best movies ever made.
I love
Like,
that movie.
That is one of the best Tom Hanks movies ever made. That is a fucking legit great fucking movie.
Yeah, to
Like,
anybody that's still watching, we're beer nerds, but we're also cinema nerds for some reason.
Yeah, the Burbs is great. The Burbs is a fucking legit great fucking movie.
My pick was Robert Duvall.
Yeah, and that's a great pick, and we will actually discuss it on the podcast there, Jamie. So we'll go into too much detail here, but
we lost 3
basically,
viewers. This is what happens, guys. When we get done our topics, if you don't give us any, we can go into movies. It happens every week.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with movies. Movies are interesting
I'm not
too.
saying that. I'm just saying to the 3 people because they'll end up watching it at some point, because that's the way my viewers are. For the people that left, if you want us to keep talking about beer, you got to feed us stuff. Feed us stuff. Questions.
He was
Honestly,
But,
with
I mean-
that pick, I started at Apocalypse Now and then looked outwards, and that was my
Yeah.
what I came
But
up with.
here's one throw in as well. How about Christopher fucking Lee? How many fucking movies was that guy in? Like everything from like the 1950s to up to his death. He was kind of touching almost everything.
I was gonna say if this was a video game, Christopher Lee would almost be like a cheat code because it's like he's been in so much. Like he's been in everything from obscure movies that like only real kind of cinema nerds would see him in to like, Lord of the Rings. What's the other big trilogy he's been in? I know he's been in
Star Wars. He was in the Star Wars trilogy.
Yes,
the
Star
prequel
Wars.
films.
Yeah, it's true. He was in 2 of the Star Wars films. Yeah, he was the Immaculate Count Dooku, which was the greatest character in Star Wars franchise.
Yeah. I mean, and he has been in so many. Like, he's one of those guys that had like fucking 200 plus fucking credits to his name.
Patrick Stewart. You don't even realize how much stuff he's in.
Yeah.
He wasn't big until Star Trek, so you don't realize the things he's in. And he does such little bit parts now. Like he was in every single season of American Dad. Like,
oh yeah.
And he was just in Green Room, which is fucking awesome.
An awesome movie, yeah.
And he was in Excalibur, which is amazing.
Dune,
the original, yeah. Here's the thing I love about Patrick Stewart is he is probably one of the best living. I'm not even gonna say living. I'm gonna say who's one of the best actors, just period, to ever grace the screen in terms of his abilities. Yet he will be in he will just be like, I'm a stupid guy in Family Guy. I'm in whatever, because he has a sense of humor. Like, by the way, he has like a 26-year-old wife. By the way, just throwing that out there.
Good for him. Good for him. Good for him. He deserves it.
Yeah, but he is just like he has got such a good sense of humor, and that he'll just be in anything. It doesn't matter how lowbrow humor it is. He will just be in it, and he will give 110% no matter what he's doing.
And hey, that motherfucker does not look 70-something. He does not look his age. He looks maybe 50.
Well, I think he's starting to look his age. Like you're seeing his body start to go, but at the same time, he's basically looked the same since he was fucking 40.
Yeah, I mean, dude, that's a guy who's living right. He's living right.
Hey, here we are consuming beer, hard alcohol, cigars in my case.
He consumes beer quite often. He'll admit it.
No. This man consumes Earl Grey tea.
That's all he does. Earl Grey tea, hot.
I have a thing. I mean, probably none of you pay that much attention to my Facebook, but I posted a thing a year or two ago. Basically, it was like the effects of cocaine, and then it was like Lindsay Lohan before and after. Then it was like the effects of Earl Grey tea. Then it showed Patrick Stewart, like 1990, Patrick Stewart 2010. Like, no difference.
Yeah.
Earl Grey tea.
The only difference in Star Trek: The Next Generation was he shaved the sides of his head. That was the only difference.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of good actors, but
I mean, even Ian McKellen, you could say, is like he's aged pretty goddamn gracefully.
And he's been in a lot of good stuff too. He's in
Somebody
again,
that
Lord-
hasn't is Christopher Plummer.
Christopher Plummer as well. That guy still looks fucking like you see his performances. He
Well,
still
he's
looks
looked
fucking
old for the last 20 years.
No, but his voice now is gone. Like you can tell he's old
yeah,
now.
a little bit. But I mean,
Yeah.
he still looks good. Like that's a guy who. And this is a guy who was a serious fucking alcoholic for a lot of his career. He still looks pretty goddamn good for being a serious alcoholic.
would you say he's? Would you say he's
He used to go drink with what's his face there, the guy that was the gladiator.
Russell Crowe?
No, the old guy,
Oh, Kirk Douglas.
no, Oliver.
Oliver Reed.
Oh,
Oliver Reed.
Oliver Reed was
known
the
for his
major.
drunkenness.
Yeah, Oliver Reed was the major fucking alcoholic of his time. Like that guy. That guy threw down fucking like his last night alive. He got in a bar fight before he died. That guy was that hardcore. Like that was Gladiator. His last movie was Gladiator, and he went out drinking with the cast of Gladiator, and he got in a bar fight, and then he died that same night.
like you know who I heard was a crazy alcoholic was Andre the Giant. Apparently he would literally go up to a bar and he'd knock back like 30, 40 beers in a night.
No, more than that. The legend goes he was like doing 100 and something a night.
Did you hear? Well, he was alive when he talked about this. This wasn't an after-death thing. There was an interview with him where he was talking about being in a Quebec bar and some guys picking a fight with him and then running into their car, and he flipped the car upside down and spun it on them while they were in it.
Yeah, that's a true story. I mean, people did that shit. Like that was something that used to happen in the territory days. People would pick fights with wrestlers, and people always pick fights with. I mean, that's kind of a thing. Like when you think about it, guys who are really big, like just growing up in their life, people pick fights with them. They do.
I want to take the big guy down. It's always a small, scrawny piece of shit doing it.
Yeah, and he got that more than anybody else. Like people did pick shit with Andre the Giant because there's always those people like, oh, you're a fake wrestler, you're not a tough guy, I can fucking fuck you up. And it's like, no, this guy is 7 feet tall. If he fucking touches you, he could fucking break your goddamn collarbone by just like fucking squeezing his fucking hand.
Well, you know what? Like my uncle, he's a cop now. He's getting up in years. When say like in the mid to late 80s, right? He was a football player, and he was roided up at the time, so he was huge, right? I've legitimately seen him lift like half a car on his own, where he just grabbed the front end and lifted the front end of it up. Like it was absolutely obnoxious how strong he was, and he's not a wrestler. Wrestlers are way stronger than he is, so. I would not disbelieve that story about Andre Giant for a second.
Oh no, Andre in his prime was fucking legit, probably the strongest man in the world for a period of time. Like, the guy was super big. I mean, the tail end of his career, he was over 7 feet tall, way over 500 fucking pounds.
Also, something to keep in mind is back in the 80s, cars were a lot lighter than they are nowadays.
Well, yeah. But I mean,
I'm pretty sure Dusty Rhodes would kick his ass though.
There was only one guy who legit got over on him, I think, and that was Bad News Brown. There was this incident where Andre said something that Bad News Brown took as like a racist remark, and apparently Bad News Brown fucked him up on a bus. But that was it. And
Andre was huge, but his maneuverability wasn't that great. So if he's sitting on a seat in a bus, Bad News jumps at him. Bad News is going to do shit to him before he can get up.
And Bad News Brown was a legit judo fucking expert too. He actually had legit credentials as far as like wrestling and MMA and shit. But I mean. Even then, I mean, fucking, at that point, Andre was really on his decline as well. Like, he was getting way overweight. He didn't have the surgery to correct his problem. Like, there was the opportunity for him to actually have surgery and correct the giantism and not
Yeah,
go,
the same
make.
surgery Paul Wright had.
Yeah, exactly. Like the Big Show actually had that surgery and fixed his problem. Andre the Giant did not do it. He just didn't do it.
What kind of
And
surgery is it? Like to fix his back or something?
no, it's to fix like the glandular problem that makes him a giant. Like it's kind of like, I think it's like a thyroid problem or something like that. Um, whatever it is that causes giantism. If you have surgery and fix it, it stops you from getting even bigger and bigger and bigger. And Andre opted out on it, and he just got bigger and bigger and bigger to the point where he just had so many problems. Like, he was just too fucking heavy for his size. He had all those back problems. Like, even when he was fighting Hulk Hogan in, what was it, WrestleMania 3, I think it was? Even then, he was way sick and over the hill at that point.
Hey,
You could tell just by how slow he moved.
Yeah.
You know, that thyroid thing, though, is no joke, because one of Agnes's co-workers from when she used to work at a different company, I won't say which one, but she used to work at a different company, and she had a co-worker who, when I met her, her co-worker was like, she was like 300 pounds, because after she had her kid, her thyroid went into overdrive, and it just made her gain weight, and she became she was like 300-pound woman, right? And she wasn't that tall. She was like 5'10", 5'11".
Oh.
She actually ended up having her thyroid removed because like the doctors decided it was bad, and then they had to put her on drugs to kind of get her thyroid levels in order. And it took years. Like, it took years and years and years. But once eventually the doctors figured out the right amount of medication, she's lost all the weight. She's legitimately like she's like 50 right now, but she's legitimately like a pretty hot MILF right now.
Who? I just got back. Who are we talking about?
I'm just saying that thyroid can really fuck somebody up, and if you fix your problems with your thyroid, it can make you like pretty nice.
But like we were talking about with the Andre fights, Paul Wright used to get picked on all the time. There's that video of the guy whose jaw he broke in a hotel when he was with WCW.
Yeah, no, people, fucking dumbass fucking motherfuckers are always picking fights with these people, and
I don't know if the story's true or not, but he also, in his biography, talks about knocking a guy out with a chocolate chip cookie.
Could have happened.
Does anyone...
When he was a bouncer at that bar that all the wrestlers used to go to in WCW,
I mean,
I was at the door. And this guy said something very derogatory to me, and all I had was the chocolate chip cookie in my hand. And I flung it at him as hard as I could.
Well, no, that's bullshit. That is bullshit. I'm kind of thinking he actually punched the guy. He might have had a chocolate chip cookie in his hand, but I'm pretty sure he punched the fucking guy.
Does anyone from the WCW days? I'm sure Lee will know this guy. Well, he went under the wrestling name El Gigante the Giant.
Yeah, that was Giant Gonzalez. He died.
Oh, he's dead now. Okay.
Yeah, he wrestled in the WWF as well as Giant.
Yeah,
Gonzalez.
he had the same problem that Andre and the Giant had.
The only difference was he wasn't built at all. He was just.
No, he was tall and skinny, like very tall and skinny.
Yeah, he was like 8 foot tall or something.
Yeah, he was close to that. Yeah, and he died, unfortunately. But
all these wrestlers from the 80s, they all die except Hogan's still around. But
that was the culture. Like, a lot of them were doing a lot of steroids and cocaine, and I mean that caught up with them. A lot of them, it really did. And then a lot of the wrestlers that were coming into their own in the 90s also suffered that fate too. Like, actually, it's more the people who were sort of coming up in the 90s that died more than the 80s guys, honestly.
I was like, China recently died. You know, she did a whole lot of roids back in the day.
Yeah, well, and her problem was she continued the drug abuse. Like, she was still doing that shit. Like, she was doing a lot of worse stuff after her wrestling career. She was still, like, really doing lots of drugs and shit. But it's weird. Like, a lot of the 90s guys who were, like, prominent in the 90s, starting in the 90s, they died really quick. because they were doing that shit. Some
Yeah.
of the people from the 80s were picking that up and doing it and end up dying.
Well, like
But
fucking Owen Hart, he went out of nowhere.
Well, yeah, but he died from an accident.
Yeah, I know. I'm
Yeah,
being an
I mean-
asshole.
Yeah, I
He
mean,
was, he was doing way too much gravity.
yeah, I mean, fuck.
Yeah, he
And-
decided to have a wrestling match with Gravity, and he lost.
Yeah, he did, and that's fucking tragic because that's a guy who should have been a world champion at some point in
Yeah.
WWF. But
Yeah, he was good.
but I mean, someone decided. Oh, and who was it who decided he should be the Blue Blazer? Vince Russo. After coming off this great program with Bret Hart and that great feud and all the great matches they had together, hey, let's make him a fucking joke. Let's put him on a fucking rig and kill him.
But wasn't he
That's
the Blue Blazer originally?
He was early on, very early on. He was Blue Blazer.
I just wanted to know if I remembered correctly or not.
Yeah. No. And then the idea was, let's bring him back to that and make him a goddamn joke. And
What about
It's
Red
like-
Rooster?
I wonder if they
Ter-
actually burnt that footage.
that's Terry Taylor. When he came to WWF, he was Red Rooster. Before that, he was actually a legit star in the territory days. And then when he went back to those places, he died because everyone was like, Red Rooster, fucking Red Rooster. He had this. It's brilliant. I don't know if it's on YouTube, but it's like his first match back after leaving the WWF and going back to the territories. Someone in the crowd went, "Cock-a-doodle-doo!" And he was just dead after that. Everyone fucking piled on the motherfucker.
Well, that was like, what's his name? The Undertaker. What was his original name? Mad Mark.
Mad Mark or something.
Yeah, Matt. Mean Mark Callis.
Mean Mark Callis. Yeah, it's like Undertaker. It's like, well, Undertaker, you've worked as your character for the last 30 years, but let's make you go back to Mean Mark Callis, because why not?
Yeah. You got to give credit to the Undertaker. He managed to make that character live on through all the silly bullshit.
He does. I mean,
Badass.
honestly, that dude's somebody who probably should have retired at this point. And I mean, I can't imagine that guy's gonna live more than a few more years. But yeah, you know what? Like, I still see. I don't watch wrestling on a regular basis by any means, but I usually try and watch the bigger events like WrestleMania and stuff like that. And I'll tell you, I still get chills when Undertaker comes down because he's just such a classic guy. Like, he just.
I haven't watched
he's-
anything in years. And
He's old.
I
He's
just
way
remember
past
all
his.
the old stuff.
He's old. He's way past his prime. But I see him wrestle. I'm just like, fuck.
Well, yeah,
This reminds me of 20 years ago.
I mean, the guy needs to retire. He definitely does. I mean, and I honestly, I disagree. I don't think he's going to die soon. Like, he's in his 50s. I think if he retires, he's got plenty of years ahead of him. But he is one of those big guys who did, like, flying moves and shit like that kind of hurt his career quite a bit. Like, he's at the point now where he can only do, like, 1 or 2 matches a year. But he needs to do one last big match where he puts someone over, like some new star, and make them. And they've kind of squandered that over the last couple of years. Like, they should have done it years ago, and they kind of fucked it up.
Hey, he
And-
got to fight Shane O'Malley the last WrestleMania.
Yeah, he got to fight Shane. That was great. That should be the last match right there. Yeah, woohoo, whoop-dee-dee. But yeah, total respect for the Undertaker. Like, the guy lived through several fucking changes in his character that were weird and bullshit, and somehow he still has respect of everybody, and everyone
I still think
treats
the worst
him.
change was the American Badass.
That was the worst. That was the absolute fucking bottom of the barrel. And you had that Kid Rock fucking music going on, and it's like, yeah, okay. Biker Taker.
Especially because he was still known as The Undertaker.
Yeah. It just sucked. It really did suck. They had an interesting idea going on where he did the Ministry of Darkness. They kind of hinted at it, that he was like this crazy guy who was doing the Undertaker so long that he believed in the character, and he was like nuts now, and that was the thing, but they never really expanded upon it at all. They're just like, oh, he's just the Undertaker. He's evil now.
I like
There you go.
how the Ministry of Darkness is the only place where Mabel got any push at all.
Yeah.
I'm now Viscera.
And who's dead now?
Yep.
What is it with all the female wrestlers that are all dead? Like Sherry's dead, Miss Elizabeth's dead. They all died.
Drug overdoses. Yeah. Miss Elizabeth was hanging with Lex Luger, who was a big fucking drug fiend, and she overdosed in his care, I guess, quote unquote. And look at Lex Luger now. That guy is fucked up. Like he had a goddamn stroke and he can't walk anymore.
Oh, really? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, he is like if you look up Lex Luger now, he is super skinny and he can barely walk. But most of the time he's in a fucking wheelchair. Like he just looks sad now. Like, really fucking sad.
Well, it's like Sting. I mean, Sting had his last match, I think, with Triple H, and I think now he's fucked up his back, and now he's.
Yeah.
At least the guy can walk, but I think he's basically done his career.
He's done. He had one with Seth Rollins where he had a neck injury in one of the matches, and that was it for him. Terry Funk is still doing shit. Terry Funk is retired 8,000 fucking times, and he's still coming back and doing shit.
Well, it's like Stone Cold and Shawn Michaels. Both of them are basically like they can't really wrestle per se, but they show up in these things where they quickly do their signature moves, and that's it. And they're like, "Oh yeah, oh my God, it's Stone Cold," and it's Shawn Michaels.
And even both of them have not done that for years. And if you listen to Steve Austin's podcast, he's like, they've asked me to do this shit. They've asked me to come back, and I just said no because I know I can't do it physically. Like I can't even fucking do stunners on people because it's that much of a fucking impact on my back where I'm not gonna risk it. I'm 50 years old. I'm not gonna be doing that shit.
Well, you know what? At this point, the guy's a multi-millionaire. Like he can just fucking sit back, relax, and every once in a while make an appearance that'll make him some money. But why at this point hurt yourself more than you need to?
Yeah, I mean he doesn't need to do it. I mean, people want it. People want to see him come back for a dream match with somebody, but he's like, I'm not going to do it. And I believe him when he says he's not going to do it because he knows.
Because there's some wrestlers that have brains and some that don't.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, he knows his limitations.
Like Terry Funk shouldn't be doing anything.
But Terry Funk is fucking nuts, and Terry Funk loves the wrestling business, and it's so much infused in his fucking blood where he can't fucking say no.
Has
like that.
Has he came back since he retired?
No. Well, since he retired, when he first retired, yes, he's come back several times, but now he's even at the point where he says, I can't do it anymore. Like, he did some shit in TNA with Ric Flair and Sting, and some of those matches are actually pretty good. But he's actually at the point now where he's like, I can't do it anymore, and I'm not going to do it. And so it's kind of nice to see those guys fucking smarten up because Mick Foley's like, I've taken so many chair shots to the head where I'm forgetting shit with my family and my kids, and I don't want to do that anymore. So he actually wants to be somewhat sane and rational with his children and his family in his later life. So there you go.
Well, after a while, you know what? You have enough money that you can live comfortably for the rest of your life. Like, okay, maybe these guys aren't rich enough that they can buy a new yacht every year.
I mean,
but like,
some of the guys will. Some of the guys never will have that point anymore.
Well, yeah. It depends how much of their money they put up their nose.
I mean, Foley saved his money. Steve Austin saved his fucking money. I mean, they're still doing stuff where they're making money, but at the same time, they don't really necessarily have to. But it was the story of a lot of wrestlers from the 70s and 80s where they didn't necessarily save their money. Like, I mean, that was part of the reason fucking Ric Flair kept fucking wrestling into his 60s. Also, because he had several ex-wives, so he was always paying alimonies and shit. But, yeah, I mean, and also he had several, like, big debts and stuff, too. He paid most of them off, apparently,
His daughter's pretty hot, though.
Well, if you like an Adam's apple and a woman, I guess.
And I do. Are you going to judge me on that, Lee?
I'm not gonna judge you, but I'm just saying, like, hey, Dad, I'm Charlotte Flair. I'm the new women's champion, Dad.
Just how I like it. Hey, sometimes I like a woman to bed me over.
I'm just saying, he has the Adam's apple that could, kind of actually bounce your dick off.
And again, why not?
Hey, whatever you're into, I'm not judging. Just saying.
I don't know. It sounds like you're judging.
I'm not fuck you, Chad. You fucking. You albino son of a bitch. I'm not judging anything.
You're judging.
I'm not judging anything, you white motherfucker.
All I want to say is that Jamie snuck out of here and Guy snuck in here. Hi, Guy.
Yeah, and fuck Guy, that fucking French motherfucker. I'm not judging.
For next year, I do believe the festival will be on the 28th.
Oh
Of
shit!
May?
I can. Chad, I really thank you because now I can actually make it because my wedding is on the 6th, so I can actually make it to your festival.
Unless your wife says different. Unless she
No.
wants you to stay in the bedroom for an extra couple weeks.
No, I guarantee you that's not going to be an issue.
Oh well, that just sounds really sad.
I'll be lucky if I can even perform on my wedding night because trust me, the place we're having, it's got pretty good booze in it, so I don't imagine I'll be even sober for my wedding
The
night.
wedding I was at didn't have very good booze at it.
They really do.
I still couldn't perform. But
Yeah.
it took 17 Bud Lights for me not to care about the country music anymore.
Yeah. No, ours is like, see, I normally would not pay extra for a high shelf bar at a wedding because it's not really worth it. However, the wedding package we got includes top shelf beer. No, not, well, top shelf for a wedding venue. So we've got single malt scotch. Again, nothing special, but Glenlivet, Glenfiddich, Glenmorangie, stuff like that. Pretty good for a wedding hall, if you ask me. So there's going to be a lot of good shit to drink. I don't imagine I'm going to be doing all that much on my wedding night. I'm going to be like, yeah, I hope you picked up another gentleman tonight because he's going to have to take the reins for me.